Welcome.
Welcome.
I was contemplating of saying anything and just seeing how long the pause will go for. It'd be funny if they pressed play on this episode.
The dead airspace.
Yeah, they just press play and then it just ends. It just is the intro.
My dad said that I was talking to him today about the podcast. He listens to him and he said something about dead. I was telling him, yeah, we're just trying to figure stuff out and figure out how to properly do things and properly arrange the podcast. And I said something about dead space. He's like, yeah, there's some dead space.
Those are enjoyable moments, though.
Yeah, they're moments of contemplation.
Yeah, those are moments for everybody to chime in and talk to us. See what they have to say.
We should start doing, I thought about doing, get like a camera or something and start doing these on Facebook Live.
That'd be cool. Just not have me in the videos.
You and just your face.
Well, I was thinking, you ever seen those Peru devil masks?
Yeah, my friend Nick has one.
Yeah, I have one of those, and I'll just wear that.
No, I'm just gonna put it on the camera on your knee, and you just have to stare at your knee the whole time.
Draw like slowly, just draw things on my knee.
Yeah, you can draw things doodle things on your knee,
and then auction off the skin.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Make lampshades out of it.
Yeah, you could do something cool with it. Jean patches.
There's like movies and stuff that. There's always the villain, the murderer that cuts people's skin off, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But my favorite one was American Horror Story Asylum. There was this character named... I forget his name. Leatherface? It wasn't Leatherface. It was something like that, though. But he cut people's skins off and made lampshades. And I always think it'd be cool to have human skin lampshade. Like someone's back just wrapped around a lamp, lighting up your room.
I wonder if there's a way to get cadavers. Like purchase cadavers and just do stuff. Like,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that's probably highly illegal.
Do you remember those body worlds though in St. Louis?
Yeah, those are sweet.
Yeah. The whole like controversy is like they didn't donate their body
right,
to it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
They just found them somewhere.
Did you ever see the movie House on Haunted Hill, the remake?
No, anything that's scary like a thriller I don't watch.
Where they go in the basement and there's bodies like in glasses and shit, kind of like that, before the body world thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that somebody will have like, oh, what is your art? Like, oh, I paint. Like, oh, I make music. Oh, I like to take skin flaps of humans and open them up and make them stick that way to show you the inner workings of muscle tissues.
That would be so cool, though.
Yeah, it's either going to be really cool or sadistic on it. There's like a happy medium. And how do you practice that? As like a kid or something? You know,
yeah, frogs. Start with frogs,
yeah.
Fish. I mean, I can't skin a fish that well. My dad can skin the fuck out of a fish. But
make little gloves.
Yeah. But it would be sweet to have skin furniture. People think it's gross or disturbing when I tell them this, but if I had the opportunity, as long as the person didn't die a violent death, I would try human meat.
I was actually talking to people about that. It's like, how would you eat a human? Like, what human would you eat? Obviously, you have to eat a muscular human.
Right. You would probably have to eat it like, kind of like seared tuna, just real quick, pss, pss, on each side, some salt and pepper. Hit it with some salt and pepper.
You think you can eat human raw though?
Oof, I don't know.
Like sushi human?
I don't know.
Because I always wanted to just mask it. Just put it in like a lasagna or something. Like make like deli meats out of it.
Well, back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In one of the there was tons of those movies, but in one of them, they made chili out of the people they cut up, and it won best chili every year at the fair, but no one knew that it was human food.
Did you ever see the episode of South Park where Cartman? I don't remember what the dude's name was. But he was getting like in an argument with him. And so basically at the very end of the movie or end of the episode, Cartman kills his parents, chops them up and puts it in a chili. And then the kid's eating his parents.
Oh, gosh.
That's probably one of the most sadistic episodes ever. But there's a funny part in there that I always think about is during this time, because Cartman's trying to get back at him. Cartman buys this pony or a horse and tries to train it to bite his dick off. So he's got these scarecrows that have hot dogs in their zipper, and all the horse is doing is just sucking the hot dogs. He's like, no, you're doing it wrong.
That's disgusting.
That was like back in the 90s episodes of.
But I would seriously, like I said, as long as the human wasn't murdered in some gross way or whatever, I would try human.
I think I'd probably take a pass on eating human.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. I think it'd probably be gamey, or just because we eat weird food all the time. Like we can I don't know. Cows eat corn. They're not supposed to really eat corn, but I don't know, it doesn't seem like something that actually tastes good. It just seems like
bet it
something that would just be
does.
like maybe gristly and stringy, maybe like string meat.
I bet it does taste good. It probably is the best. It's probably better than deer meat or moose meat. It's the best of the meat.
I always wondered how much human meat is in food in general. Like how much there has to be a small percentage. Like how much cockroaches are in peanut butter. There's
Well,
like a small
back at-
percentage of that.
I can't remember where it was, what it was, the specific situation in which this happened. But some regulation, I think, happened way back in the day because people would fall into chicken churners or whatever sort of meat. People would fall in there and just be like, oh, fuck it, just leave them in there. And I think that brought upon some sort of regulation for food, because shit like that would happen. Stuff would fall in. You'd be eating like a chicken nugget and get like a wedding ring in it or something like that.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. I learned that in school a long time ago. I can't remember what it's called, though. I'm pretty sure I'm not making that up.
Guy probably just jumped in because he was married.
Yeah, he's probably, fuck it. Fuck this. I'm
Just
done. I'm
Jumped
done.
in. Or fingertips. I always think about that, like how many, because people probably get their fingertips cut off. all
Oh,
the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
There's like a slight little graze of the fingertip
Yeah,
going into food.
And they just look at their finger and, oh, fuck it.
or blood going in. Just
Or
how much-
sneeze or boogers or loogies.
yeah, somebody hacking.
Yeah.
That's probably the grossest thing ever. Somebody just hacking while they're making food.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
sick.
I've worked in a kitchen, and an open window kitchen, and you can't do shit in it. But I mean, you shouldn't anyways, but
No, I'm saying like, be conscious of not
right.
doing that.
What's funny is working in a restaurant, front of house or back of house, is the instinctual tendencies that we have that you don't, like a subconscious thing that you do, like scratch your hair, scratch your eyes, pick your nose 24/7 like I do, that I'm not really aware of, or things like that.
Touching your beard or something.
Yeah, that you do but you don't realize, and you're in a restaurant. It's funny to watch people do that.
Yeah. My friend Sam told me, this is a long time ago, like maybe not really that long, maybe 5 years ago. I don't know if the story is true or not, but it's just one of the funniest serving stories in my mind. Is he was walking around asking everybody if there's a breeze going on. We're like, no, there's no breeze in here. Because what we did is we had aprons that went down to our knees, but like folded up, like chef aprons that go around your neck. So he's wearing this thing, and then he told me like a couple days later that he's like, remember that day I told you I had that breeze going on? It's like, yeah, I went to take a piss, and I guess I just left my dick out
Oh.
like under his apron, like through his fly and everything. His dick was just hanging out.
Oh, that's terrible.
Because when he pulled the apron off when he got in his car, like he was surprised to see his dick hanging out.
Oh. Good thing he didn't pop it up when he was in
Yeah,
working or something.
Right? Or like a little kid walking underneath him.
Oh.
Yeah, I always think that's the funniest one I've ever heard, but I have no idea if it's true or not, but it's pretty funny if it is.
That's disgusting. I'm so glad I work in a cubicle now, and I just get to do whatever I want to do.
Yeah, I hate cubicles. It depends on what colors, because like my roommate had cubicles that were just these gray, white, like whitish gray, soul-sucking 15-foot tall ones. But the ones that I was in were these weird corkboard ones that are maybe 4 foot tall, and they had glass where you can kind of see the tops of people's skulls. That wasn't so bad, but the whole idea of just walking and seeing a farm of cubicles just really bothers me.
Well, it's just compartmentalizing things. But what's really funny, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but is office life mannerisms and office life things that happen. I think we talked about it before, but when you go to the bathroom and someone's shitting, and it just when I poop, I mean, there might be some sound, like a little or that sort
Yeah.
of thing, just like a subtle thing. I mean, I eat pretty healthy, so I don't think that I'm it's straight what's the word? Straining. What is the word? Straining myself.
okay.
Straining, yeah. I don't think I'm straining myself, but some people come in and it's just like, I'll be peeing and someone will come in and sit down and they'll be like, "Ah!" and you'll just hear like,
Do you ever just,
and I'm just like, dude, what the fuck are you eating?
I just immediately laugh when I hear that stuff.
It makes me so uncomfortable, like so uncomfortable, because I hear it, and the whole thing is with that is the shoes. You always know someone.
I was gonna ask you if you knew by their shoes.
So I'll try to take a gander at their shoes, or another thing is I don't want them to look at my shoes, and then there'd be this awkward thing when I'm playing pinball or something in the break room, and they look down and see my shoes, and they're like, "Oh, that dude was in there when I was letting off that massive deuce."
Yeah, but see, the difference is you can look down and see it. They're sitting in the toilet. They actually have to put their face underneath the stall to see your shoe.
You can kind of see
Unless you get to the shoe, like, or your shoes are right next to the urinal that is next to the toilet, then that. But if you're like a couple ones over, you can't.
Yeah, but it's just so uncomfortable and so gross, because you have to poop, obviously, and it's, you wake up, we have to be there, or whoever has to be there at whatever time. It's early in the morning, you might not wake up in time and have your morning poop or whatever, so you always have it there. But I mean, it's just one person after the other, and it's
the seat never gets cold.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no music in there, there's nothing. I mean, it's just, you can hear, if you, right before you walk into the bathroom, if someone lets out like a huge ripper, like, you can hear it. Sometimes I'm sitting at my desk because I'm right across the street from the bathroom, and I can hear, I'm pretty sure I can hear through the rafters and the vents, just like small amounts of like boop, like reverberations. But it's so awkward. And then another awkward thing is just the whole need to say something to someone, hi, or whatever. I mean, I always just smile at people, but there's that awkward thing. But then also, if you're not listening to music, the noises that circulate around the room, I'm a pretty quiet person, or at least I think I am, but there's some people, there's a couple people that I work with, and I don't think it's a purposeful thing, but when you're in a cubicle focusing on what you're doing, you hear everything, and you're just thinking to yourself, man, that person is breathing fucking heavy.
Yeah.
And then my mind wanders. I'm like, are they healthy? Do they have asthma? What's going on? Wait.
Or the drinking habits.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I have to listen to music all day long, music or podcasts.
Yeah. Going back to the toilet one, the thing that I enjoy seeing is, well, I guess I don't enjoy, but it's funny to me, is when they're straining, and then it means business when one of the foot lifts up off the ground.
Oh yeah.
To get better leverage. But the noises are true. The things that used to make me aggravated was when people slam their mouses down, because like that's gonna fix your computer problem. Is just like slamming the mouse down or hitting your keyboards real hard.
What I think is so cool though is we're all clicking and typing because it's programming, right?
Yeah.
And all day long, all you hear is. But there's 7 or 8 of us in there, so everyone's just clicking. It's like a little click fest, like someone's trying to play a game where you have to click as many times as you can. I love that sound though. It's funny to me.
I always have like these thoughts of going around the cubicle with like a camera, and you're actually coding and stuff, and then goes to the next person and they're coding everything, and it goes to like the 5th person and they're just banging on the keys that make it look like they're working, but nothing's like happening.
Sometimes there's this guy that I sit across, and we always joke around, but I'll look at him and I'll just put my hands and flop them on the keyboard and just be like, because there's these memes that we always send each other of, if you type in cats or if you type in typing for a GIF or something, it's always a cat like looking at the screen and just flapping his paws. It's so funny.
This is exactly how we are though.
Yeah.
My roommate just sent me a meme today. It was like a picture, and it says, like, who would you rather talk to in a cubicle? And it was just like this. It was like an old guy, and it said he's probably 100. And there was like this older girl that says she's from Human Resources. There's this kid that has like complete pasty white skin and things like dark circles painted in his eyes. His hair's weird colors, and says he really likes Radiohead. And there's a guy that like has a cheese smile and says like, he farts at work. And it just like kept on going. And every single selection that you could choose was the worst possible. Like, there's nothing that is like a good choice on this.
I would choose the radio. I love Radiohead.
Yeah, but the guy was like, just like staring at. I have to show it to you, but the guy's just like, he looks eerie that he will not. That basically he just won't shut up and talk about. Like,
Right.
Like, well, I enjoy Radiohead as well, but I'm saying like if somebody just keeps going on and on and on and on, like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, yep, I like OK Computer, and you just keep on going and going and going and going.
Right.
It's like, okay, man, I gotta.
I call them the lingerer.
Oh yeah.
Because you talk to them and then conversation's done, but then they come back and linger. No, I don't work with anyone like that, but I know people like that
There's tons of them at my job.
in real life.
What about the cleaner? Do you ever have the cleaner? Somebody who's just seemingly their job is just to wipe shit down constantly.
That's probably me. I hate when my desk gets dirty.
No, I mean just going everywhere in the entire building, just wiping stuff down.
No.
Like a little break room, everything's just being wiped down, but it's never clean.
I think people in my office are way too fucking busy all the time to be worried about that shit.
Yeah. I always wondered if in my last job if there's just somebody's job to walk around, because I would just see the same person just walk. It was almost like
for sure. There's jobs in companies where their job is not defined enough, so they don't really know what to do. But I think it's an unspoken thing that you are just to walk around and do nothing.
Yeah, I always wondered about that. And then there's these group of ladies at the last job I was at, with the cubicles and office life, and their job was literally to go through newspapers. Just go through newspapers. That's all they did. And they had stacks and stacks and stacks of newspapers from all around the country to go just to look at ads. Oh yeah, that's an ad. And then cut it out. Sometimes they had like their own little stack of coupons and stuff that they find in there. Their fingers are completely black from all the ink.
Ugh.
Just going through newspapers all day. It's like you're getting paid to do that.
We create these meaningless tasks, and we talk about this a lot lately, but I think it's just because it's a very pertinent part in our lives right now. The coming to realization. Dude, I was listening to Theo Vaughn and Duncan Trussell podcast, and Duncan Trussell talks about he's reading some book or something.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But he talks about the whole 9 to 5, that whole thing, and it is just that speech you sent me.
Yeah, dude, that was great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how I used to think too, or I kind of still think that way. Because the funny thing is, when I listened to that same day, I went to the grocery store and thought, what the fuck is taking everybody so long? Like, I just want to get through this.
Dude, me and Mercedes, we had to switch up our schedule because we had a schedule. So we would both be at work during the day, Monday and Tuesday when she opened, and I work in the day, obviously. So we would meet. We would come home. We wouldn't come inside just because Kane is in his cage, and we wouldn't want to, piss him off or get him all riled up. So we would come home. I would get in the car. We'd go to the gym. We'd work out. Then we'd go to Whole Foods, and we would get food, and then we'd come home. And when in the midst of all that, we get these little bickery fights, and we just take stabs at each other and get home, and I feel so fucking stressed out. And I realized it's because I go from a place where I should only be for 2 hours, but I'm there for 8 hours. Then I go to a place where I don't have to be there, but I should, because it's healthy, and it actually does make me feel good. But when I'm there, I see all these other people looking in the mirrors and walking, strutting around and just being buffoons and like, get out of here, you idiots. So I'm stressed out about that. Then I go to the driving to the grocery store. It's on a busy road. So then I have to deal with that. Then I have to deal with the people in the grocery store, and I just want to get home. And when I get home, I'm just like, fuck, I am stressed out. So we switched it up the other day. We came home, walked Kane, left Kane out of his cage, just left him in the bottom part of our house, then went to the gym, then went to the grocery store. And I was not as stressed at all.
You probably had the decompression time.
Exactly, because I had that decompression time, and it wasn't go deal with stressful situations, deal with stressful people.
Like, hurry up, get the workout done. Hurry up, go get the grocery store done. And then come back.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it, and it just made me realize that's what life is. That's why everyone's stressed out, because it's constantly, there's just this go mentality where you just gotta stop, chill for a second, look around. Okay, now let's go.
Yeah, I try to, when I'm with people, I try my best to be in that moment. And then, because the things that, like, of course, like, I'll try to think about future events with them. But when I'm just like around them, I try not to think like, oh, what's it gonna be like in 1 month? I don't think that at all. What I try to do is just sit there and just like, okay, enjoy now, because I'll get stressed out about the future. Like, okay, well, I have
Right.
to do all this, and I hate planning. The things that I like doing is like I have to go home, not technically home, but like go back to Illinois for my friend's wedding, and so I'm just like, okay, I won't think about it until I actually have to go. Because if I think about it constantly, like, oh, what am I gonna wear? My suit doesn't fit me anymore. Things like that. I'll just get stressed out. I'm like, okay, well, I have to buy a suit, and that means I have to work more, and just all that. It's like, fuck
Right.
it. I'll just wait, and then when that happens, I'll put it on, and
Yeah.
because I don't know. I just look at kind of life as just it's going to happen regardless, and stressing out about it's pointless. That's why when I was listening to that video, the funny part about that video was where he's like basically yelling at these people, like these fictional people about like, you fat slob and all that,
Right.
and then people were clapping, and he goes, "This is exactly how to not think,"
Right.
and they weren't getting it,
Yeah.
and he's like, "That's what you should not be thinking."
That's because they were agreeing with him because that's how they feel.
Exactly, because he knew exactly how they think.
Right, but the truth of it, or the truth to it is that you don't know what that next person is going through. Like you said, they could be the person, the asshole behind you, speeding behind you on your ass, could be trying to get their wife to the hospital for baby or whatever this. You never know. It's basically what I caught it. What I got out of it. The gist of it was that just be respectful of other people, be aware of everyone, and try not to be such an asshole. But it's fucking hard because
Yeah.
I've tried to think like that, but I'll see someone and I'll see them do something, or I'll see some other person's mannerisms or their actions, and I'm like, nope, I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm getting reinforced. There's so much reinforcement of your I guess cynical beliefs about how you view other people, and they're not necessarily that they're all out to get you, but that they are hindering you from moving along.
Yeah. I always call those people like sometimes when they just come up to you and talk to you, like maybe they're super shy, right? And you somehow brought out their ability to talk to people, but since they don't know how to talk to people, they're talking about pointless shit.
Right.
And so in your mind, you're thinking, this is pointless shit. How the fuck do I get out of this conversation? Where they're just like, I'm so happy to finally have a conversation with you. I always call those time suckers because you can never get that time back. And there are
Right.
some natural time suckers out there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I try to like, okay, where's this going? Like the other day, I was just talking to some dude about books and stuff. I'm like, okay, well, where's this going? And it seemed to go nowhere. So like, oh, okay, nice talking to you, and then just like walked away. But if I was like, okay, where's it going? And then I'm not gonna be rude and disrespectful. I'm like, hey, you're not talking about shit I'm interested in. But if it's going somewhere, like he actually has something to say, like beyond just spitting out books that he's read. Like, why are you telling me this? Do
Right.
you want me to read one of these books? I don't understand it. But it's kind of like, just get out of your own head for a second,
Right.
and just realize that he's just talking to you. And the thing is, like, I never do that. I never, like, how many times I probably waste people's time? I probably waste it constantly with the shit that I talk about.
You're wasting whoever's gonna listen to this time.
Yeah, basically, yeah. They just like
No.
fast forward a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just still going on. Like, Jesus, dude.
I wish that we could, if there are actual people that listen to this and actually like it and enjoy it and look forward to hearing it, I wish there was like a way to get them to be able to talk to them, like-minded people. I mean, I know you
Yeah.
can, emails and phones and stuff. One of these times, maybe next time, get my brother on here for a little bit. He
Yeah,
wants
see, I can do that because that might be pretty cool. And maybe listeners will want to hear like that other people, like maybe because we're just in an isolated room,
Right.
that somebody else has these thoughts and their experiences to be like, hey, this is why I believe the same things that you guys are believing, or this is the reason why I
Right.
don't believe the same things you guys. Because there's somebody out there that just loves cubicle life.
Right.
I've seen them. I don't
Yeah.
understand them, but they're just normies. That's what I would just call them, just average normal people. I was actually talking to my friend Jack about that, and I was like, out of all of our friends, who do you think's the most normal? And he goes, well, what do you mean by normal? And he goes, just like living the status quo life where you just, completely just don't think about the fabric of reality and what you're sitting in. You just go about life as quote unquote normal. And I was like, yeah, I never really thought about that because to me, that's because my normal is talking about this sort of stuff.
But some people some people are like they like that normalcy. They like the mundane life, that's what they grew up on. They decided not to pursue anything Well, I don't know. I shouldn't go down that road.
I know what you mean. Is not pursue something that like you and I are pursuing, which is kind of like an extension of our own minds in some way in a creative form. But they're just pursuing like a 9-to-5 job in an office. That's what they want. They're pursuing to save money to buy a home. That's what they want. Because I used to ask people at work, at my office job, where do they see themselves in 5 years? And the vast majority of them, girl or boy, would say that they would see themselves married, having a kid with a home.
Right.
And I was just like, why? I didn't understand.
Because that's what they were told.
Yeah, but then I think they honestly want that. Just like if somebody asked me, like, what do you want to be doing in 5 years? Well, I want to be I don't know, making money for myself, rather than just having to go to a job.
Self-sustained, so you don't have
That's
to
what I was
answer.
working for. Yeah.
So you don't have to answer to anyone, and yeah, it would just be nice.
But like that's what. See, they probably were thinking when I tell them that stuff. Why would you want that? I don't understand. Why would you not want to work for a job? It's a lot less stress trying to make money. You know, when you just work for some corporation and where you have a 401k and a nice office, that's way easier than what they think. And to me, I'm like, that's not way easier. That's way more difficult for me to do. Is just sit there and do mindless stuff. But they might like it. Just like how I don't enjoy sports or enjoy sports, they might really enjoy sports. Things like that. So you're coming at it differently, and you have to get out of your own like narcissistic world of this is what I know and this is what I think is normal.
Right. They just, they're where they get off, or what makes them happy could just be getting out of that cubicle, getting out of that mundane thing, and going to their house and seeing all the things that they can afford because of
Yeah.
they just have, it's all about perspective. It's whatever your perspective is. I think it was last weekend.
Real quick though, do you think that somebody likes to, when they have their bathroom shoes,
What's
what I'm saying?
that?
Like, so when they have to take a shit, they switch shoes and then go to the bathroom.
In the cubicle?
Yeah, the cubicle life, and then they take their shoes. Like when they come back, they switch their shoes. So
Why would they do that?
So nobody knows. They're taking shits.
Ooh, that's a good. I'm gonna do that because I like to be incognito in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I don't like people. I don't like to. I mean, I'm silent.
It's a little awkward. I know what you mean.
Well, and it's awkward because there's cracks in the walls of the stalls. So when you walk in, you don't mean to look. You see someone in there shitting on their phone, and you can kind of make out, if you kind of know who it is, you're like, oh, fuck, great. I just saw Bob shitting. And then it just creates this other, it's a very awkward situation.
Yeah.
What were we talking about before that?
You said last week something about last week.
Oh, yeah, last weekend. I was off Saturday and Sunday, obviously, because I have weekends off now, but the life that I live on the weekends is what I want to do. I wake up, I eat breakfast, I take my dog on a walk, hang out, and then I work on music, or I work on whatever creative. And I feel good. It's at my own time, at my own discretion. I don't have to be here for 8 hours today or whatever, which I would work. I mean, I could work on music for 16 hours in a day. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
But that feeling that I get on the weekends, that's what I want my everyday to be. So then that music that I have to work on, or whatever I have to work on creatively for a job, is during the week, and then the weekend I don't have to do shit. As opposed to working on, my craft or whatever at night, if I ever do work on it, which I really don't because I'm so fucking tired when I get home. But yeah.
See, I think what will happen to you, because I was curious about this too, is what's going to happen if I make, because kind of what happened with me is my job became the part-time and the art became the full-time, is when you make it and you're not like working on anything else for somebody else, like even if it's part-time work, and let's say you're doing all music full-time, what will eventually happen is you'll probably spend, maybe close to 55 to 65 hours a week on that, and then in your downtime, you'll find a new hobby.
Yeah.
Like it won't be like, oh, I'm gonna go home and relax. For a while, you probably watch stuff, but like that's why highly creative people, like actors or musicians, are both, or like artists are also doing something else. They're always like dabbling in different stuff.
Right. Yeah, and I wish that I had more time to dabble in other things, because if let's say music was my living, well then I could go back to coloring comic books or writing more or painting little Warhammer characters or whatever the fuck I want to do, as opposed to spending that time working on music, because I like web developing, don't get me wrong, but I just, the whole construct of being in a desk for set amount of time and you have to be there, like Duncan Trussell says in that thing, or he quotes the book, they're not paying for your work, they're paying for your time. They're giving you money so that you'll feel okay with wasting 8 hours of your life sitting there doing monotonous, mindless things.
Yeah, I always, like what I texted you, is how I view it is they're paying you to not do your dream.
Right.
That's how I view it.
Right.
But if it's your dream to do that work, then they're paying you to do your dream.
Well, I saw this cool thing today, Post Malone. It was an interview with him. It was some interview thing on YouTube or whatever. But he was just like, he was fucking around. It was, his music thing was, it wasn't purposefully fucking around, but it was just fucking around kind of. And then he put it on SoundCloud. It became big. He loved music so much though that that's all he ever did. And then he just got lucky, and he even admits, he's like, yeah, I got lucky. But for that, like, that feeling is, you know, getting actually what you're working on is the most rewarding thing. So why do you have to sit somewhere else and waste that precious time, that 8 hours, that precious time where you could be working on the song that you're going to put on SoundCloud and it's going to literally get you a record contract the next day, something like that.
Yeah, I think because you and I are kind of in similar situations. We probably had similar upbringing. It's just like our parents didn't do, like, if we have kids, right, that and we're doing something in the future for money that is creative, we're going to instill in them that you can, without, regardless, even if they wanted to do a 9-to-5 job, that's fine. But there'll be, how many people do you know in your family that do something that they want for a living? And it's probably not that many, if even one. So when we're growing up, we don't think that at all. So maybe Post Malone had somebody in his life, I have no idea, I don't research him, that even a friend's parent or something was doing something with their life that they wanted to do.
Right.
And he got that small little thing inside his head saying, I can do it too. Right. Not even realizing it. But I was saying, if we ever have children and we're doing the thing that we want to do, you'll be able to not even just tell, but show to your kids that you can do whatever you want to do. So they won't view jobs how we grew up viewing jobs. Because how I viewed jobs growing up as a kid is the dad works blue-collar jobs, the mom works white-collar jobs. And that's how I always thought. Because even my friends' parents were the exact same way. Dad's blue-collar, mom's white-collar. So I thought that I had to go into blue-collar. And then my dad's like, no, you can actually just go into a white-collar job. Not even thinking about that. Because I even when I think the first thing I ever got published was in like a newspaper when I was in 3rd grade. Not even realizing that could actually be something, you know? It's just like, oh, that's just whatever. People just enjoyed that. Right. Not realizing that if that would have been published, right, that one of my uncle would be like, hey, focus on that. And then like, you can make money off that. People like you. And then slowly just build up. But that's what I kind of think. Because I always think about my uncle. He's the one that got me into music. Because like when I was in 5th grade, because I'll never forget this dude named Chad was sitting next to me in music class. And like it was like piano music class. And he's like, hey, man, I know you're into music. And he's like, check out this new band. And he handed me this cassette tape. And I just remember looking at it like, what the fuck is this? It was like 5 dudes on a watery street. And it was Backstreet Boys. I'm like, this looks terrible. And so like I gave it back to him because like at that...
No thanks, Chad.
Yeah. But like everybody was really into that music. But my uncle is the one that got me into Pink Floyd. So I'm like a little kid listening to Jimi Hendrix, Pink Floyd, like all that. I'm trying to understand music because he saw something within music. But where I was getting at with that story is he was really talented at making music. Even his brothers, uncle? Yeah, even like his brothers, they had an entire band. One of them was a drummer, one was a bass player. He was a guitar player and singer, and there's another guitar player. They could have made a band together, but they just didn't believe in themselves to travel around and be in a band. And that's kind of like what I see with him. Is that like he should have been into music rather than just what he ended up doing with his life.
Well, it's all luck, chance, opportunity.
But even if he's making money like $500 or $50,000 a year, that would, you know, like, would you rather have an office job that pays you $42,000 to $55,000 or making music paying $42,000 to $55,000? It's a no-brainer. Right. It's not about the whole money idea. Well, like, I guarantee you Post Malone would still be doing it if he got $200 a week. He's like, dude, I'm getting $200 a week to make music.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know some people in the jam band world, in my genre, or, you know, funk, jam band, that sort of thing. I mean, they're big. They're on the top of the list. Not the top, but right under the top of the list of the big dogs like Humphreys McGee, Widespread Panic, that sort of thing. They're, a couple tiers under them, but they make maybe less to equal to what I make. So I know that it's a sustainable career if you get the opportunity and thing. And see, I was lucky. My parents, they would have, if I basically told them I'm going to do this to pursue music, and they were like, fine, that's fine. They encouraged me to give it an actual shot. They never said, no, you need to do the 9 to 5 thing, but it was my own doing to why I didn't pursue it even more. I mean, I needed money. I needed a place to stay. I couldn't get enough gigs and that sort of thing. When you pursue music as a career, if you're playing in a band, there's 3 or 4 other people that you have to rely on. So everyone has to be on the same page. I mean, a person that I played music with, he lives in Colorado now and he plays gigs. He tours all the time. I think he has a day job now, but I mean, he's doing it, but he's sustaining it. It's just kind of, a give and take of, can you go with less to be that way, to live your dream, I guess, which is what I want to do. But unfortunately, the debt system has me locked in for the time being.
Yeah, my parents never really thought that you could do a job with your creativity. So, like, because I always was into animation. Like, as a kid, I loved, like, Earthworm Jim, The Tick, Biker Mice and Mars, like, all that stuff. Like, the kind of, like, weird TV shows from the 90s or cartoons. And I always wanted to make something like that. And so I was going to major in illustration, minor in, like, the video production part of it. So I can make my own cartoons, which I can still do that now. There's nothing holding me back. I just buy a program and learn how to make cartoons. But what I was getting at is, like, my parents never really thought that you could do that with because they don't know anybody that's ever done anything creative with their life. Like I said, my uncle just never did anything. It was his hobby that played gigs, that was it. So this is just your hobby, and so they're like, the best way to go about it, because the best way to have a good life is a business job. And because coming in from like the mid 2000s, this is before the recession hit. It's like, oh yeah, this is what you should do with your life. And so it's like, oh, okay. Because I didn't think that. I was being instilled that, like, now I'm just like, that's not right. It's like, for me, it might be right for somebody else, but it's not right for me. So then I feel like I'm just backtracking all this fucking time, of my 20s to go back and try to not redo my life, but get to the point that I want to be at to be successful. And the thing that I think is, if you have this mindset of, oh man, I'm too old to do this, or it's too late to do this, my degree's not in this and this and that, I don't know if I'll make it. You're probably not going to.
Right.
Because the answers that you're getting from people, like, if you start giving out, like, mixtapes to people and they say no, and you're like, okay, they told me no. See, how I view things is, they're not giving me the answer I want.
Right.
They're just, you're not telling. So I'm going to wait till you give me my answer.
Right.
My answer is going to be yes. That's the answer I'm waiting for.
You have
to
to work for that right answer.
Exactly,
if someone tells you no, you don't take it as a negative thing. You just use it and say, okay, well, I'm going to get better. I mean,
exactly. Just keep getting better and ask, why is it a no?
Right.
Tell me why, so I know how to work on it next time.
Yeah, this person, I don't know if I'd call him my mentor, but he's a music producer, and I mean, he's really good. I mean, he has the golden ear. And when I just reached out to him out of thin air on Facebook, started talking to him, kind of give me some knowledge. It's been about a year now, a little more since I've been talking to him, but the knowledge he gives me, and me working, I would send him a song. He'd be like, no, that sounds like shit. There's too much of this going on. I wasn't disheartened by it. I just used it as to curtail what I was doing before. So now I'm a little bit better. And now when I send him stuff, he says, oh, perfect arrangement, good arrangement. He doesn't necessarily like the style of music that I play, but I don't take his no. I mean, he's very critical, but I don't take his no's as
like defeating you.
Yeah,
like
exactly,
yourself.
exactly.
Like, you are bad.
Right, and it's just, of course, it's his opinion too, right? It's opinion, but it's an opinion you respect. You choose whose opinion matters.
Yeah, I always say check the source who it's coming from.
Right. Well, there's this. Sorry, the guy that I'm in a band with, I just sent him a bunch of songs on the internet. He's in Philadelphia, and he just said, Wi-Fi is shit down here, because he's trying to download some big files. But it's funny we're talking about this. I was watching an episode of Californication last night, and Do you know anything about that?
Well, Mercedes was just telling me about it.
Yeah.
And, like, I have no idea.
David Duchovny's a writer, and he's all fucked. He's addicted to sex and stuff, and this and that. But his daughter, she gets a little older. She wants to be a writer. She writes this big novel, and she asks him to read over it and give her his notes. So he reads over it. He hates it. It's shit, right? And then he tells her basically it's shit, and she gets all bent out of shape, and then the mom has to intervene, and this sort of thing. But it's and obviously that's a show, but to me that's a lot of what goes on nowadays. Is people are they put their stuff out there because they think it's good, and they want a certain reaction, but they're not prepared for
the critique of it,
the other reaction.
Yeah.
They put their show out, or their song out. Check out my new song, and they think it's the best thing. Someone comes back and says, "Oh, it sounds okay," and that's not the thing. And then they get down, or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you can get to the point where you take every criticism as just a building block to you getting better, that's the perfect mentality for the creative process. But it's a hard thing. I mean, it was hard for me to get to that.
Yeah, but I think you have to have it so much, and then you understand it. Like, if you constantly get critiqued down, like, oh, this is bad, here's why, and that, and you realize, I think one important thing is realizing that your art, regardless of what it may be art and movie making, it might be illustration, music, that is not you. That's not an extension of you. That's just something you created.
Right. Yeah, and that same thing I think we were talking about last week, reprimanding someone at their job, but addressing it about the specific job or task that was at hand, not the person. That's a successful manager critiques the act, or if a person wanted Coke instead of root beer, they address, well, you gave them Coke, they wanted root beer, this is why we need to do this. Not saying you're an idiot, how could you, what were you thinking, how could you give them root beer instead of Coke? Same thing with the critiques. You have to take it as a critique to the art or the piece, not you as a person. But that goes the other way too, is if you're giving someone a critique, you have to critique the thing and not critique them.
Yeah, and the thing, I like critiquing art. I actually took a drawing class at the end of college, and I just enjoyed critiquing people's stuff because I would never attack their thing. Like, oh, this is the reason you're not using a dark enough pencil, I can tell. And they're like, yeah, I didn't know how, they're like, how do you make yours dark? I'm like, oh, this is how you just make it dark. Well, how do you make it light? How are you making it blend without smudging everything? Like, oh, well, you just do this. Not saying that they're asking me for advice or anything, but I'm saying that I would critique their stuff, and they would never feel like that I'm attacking them. But
Right.
but you always have those one teachers or those one students. It's like, what made you think about this to do that?
Right.
And it's like, I don't know. Like, why did you put that guitar part in there?
Yeah.
And then you're asking them to explain it, but you're
Yeah.
not gonna get it. I just did it because I drew that because it was cool. I thought it looked good.
Yeah.
I made that little noise in the song because I thought it sounded cool.
Yeah, I
That's what
farted and I knocked something over, and it was just an accidental thing, and so I left it in there.
And then you stretch the tape out.
Yeah, exactly. People are so thin-skinned nowadays too, especially not just in art or a creative sense, but any sort of situation. I feel like people are very thin-skinned about their children. They want to, oh, look
Yeah.
at little Daryl's drawing, it's so good, and you look at it and you want to say that looks like shit.
Yeah.
It's okay to be mediocre at things. This whole concept of I have to be a god at everything I do, or everything I do has to be movie star status, or has to be perfect, or this or that. It's okay, to be not 100% at everything. Choose a couple things to be 100% at. I feel that nowadays people, if any aspect or characteristic of them, if it's flawed a little bit, or it's undermined or critiqued, or any sorts of those not necessarily negative, but not on the positive side of the ledger, people get so fucking goddamn offended.
Yeah.
And I know we talk about Facebook and all that kind of shit all the time, and I know that I always preface what I'm about to say with that same saying, but it comes from that, because you get so much. Here's the thing about Facebook: the people that you know most of the time on Facebook are people that you are friends with, that you chose to be friends with. So of course they're going to be positively subjective, objective, whatever, to anything you post. You chose the audience in which the content is being viewed by, that you put on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're in a metal band and you ask someone to review your album, and you choose all metalheads to review it, of course it's going to be good. If you choose a bunch of fucking polka dancers and polka musicians, they're not going to like it. So Facebook is a false sense of reinforcement to you know what you have to offer and what you are as a person and what you do, that sort of thing. Now Twitter, on the other hand, I don't think it is, because people can follow you, people can see, and obviously people you're not friends with can see hashtags and stuff, but I'm pretty sure the algorithm on Facebook is pretty set. You know, like my band, we try to post shit all the time and we never get anything, because they want you to pay for sponsored ads and this and that, and only certain people see it. But so what happens is, because they get all this positive reinforcement on Facebook, all these likes, all these comments, because there's people you know, the people you choose, to who you're putting your thoughts, your events, your artwork, your songs that you like out. But then when they get out in the real world and they do it to someone that they don't really necessarily know, or someone that isn't someone they picked, and they don't get the response that they want, they're fucking appalled. You know?
Yeah.
It's a fucked up system, and I think that it was purposefully. I don't know if that was the reasoning behind to make it that that was like the purpose of Facebook, but it's a false reinforcement to your ego and to your creative aura or what have you.
Yeah, with the thing that I always get when I ask people to look at my art and critique it, because lately I've been seeking out professionals, and I'm naturally they're just too busy, but is like I don't really show them to people who don't understand art, like illustration art, because they're just looking like, oh, that's cool, that looks good. I hate those sort of critiques. Oh, that looks really good. You did a really good job there. That looks great.
Yeah,
I hate those.
Yeah,
just tell me, like, what is it? Like my roommate one day, I was drawing, for some reason, male figures are super easy in my head to do. Female figures are just a little different to draw, especially in illustration. And he will always say, like, she looks weird. She doesn't look like a girl. I'm like, okay, cool. That's why. And I was like, okay, well, her face is too masculine. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I'll go work on faces. That's the stuff that makes me want to. If he was like, wow, you draw those hands really well. Like, okay, cool. I don't care. Tell me something that looks weird in here, so I can fix it for the next time. But the thing is, I won't tell people that. I'll just want them to do it naturally, and then I won't get my feelings hurt. Like, yeah, just say whatever. I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. And then they'll
but a lot of people aren't like that.
I know, but I want more people to be like that. I want more people to be critical rather than say, like, this is really good. If they say, like, hey, yeah, you're the hands you draw are really good, I appreciate that. Like, okay, cool. Now tell me a couple things I can work on.
Right. People are afraid to hurt people too, because the vice versa on the whole positive reinforcement thing on Facebook. I feel like there's this sense of when you see someone's thing on Facebook, their comment or whatever, their post. If you know them but you disagree with it, you're not going to post something negative because they're your friend and you're not like that. You don't want to be like that. So you post either something positive or you don't post at all. So it also creates this mentality in our heads that, ooh, maybe I shouldn't say that. It's going to ruin them. It's going to, burn a hole through their thin fucking skin.
Yeah, but you can always do, if you feel that way, and let's say you don't have their phone number or anything and you're on Facebook, you can just send them a direct message. Like, hey, I didn't know if you wanted my critique on this thing. And so that way other people don't see your comments, and you're just giving somebody some actual, like, feedback on it. Because you might get a response that says "fuck off," and like, okay, maybe I overset my boundaries there, but like I was just trying, so nobody knows that I was going to be an asshole. I wasn't trying to be an asshole. I was just giving you my sort of feedback. See, I'd rather have people just tell me straight up, like, this looks weird.
Yeah. Overall, though, I would say the general population, bunch of fucking thin skinners. Everyone is just not everyone. A lot of people are just big fucking babies nowadays. Everyone is.
I don't understand that. 'Cause
Everyone gets so up in arms with driving. I mean, it's if you pull in front of someone and it was a millisecond too sooner than they were expecting, their fucking day is ruined.
Well, they
and-
are in cars. They are heightened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll be the first to say that I kind of have bad road rage when I drive and stuff. But there's other situations where people are just, they get so bent out of shape about the stupidest fucking shit, because it's a detriment to their ego, or it will make them look bad, or whatever sort of thing they're trying to portray themselves as, it'll take it down a little bit,
Well, they should be. They should be taken down a little bit.
We should all be learning. We're all the fuck. Here's my thought. At the end of the day, you're a fucking human being. You're conscious. You have that X factor. Dogs are conscious. Clearly, they dream. How could they not? How could a dog not be conscious if it dreams? A dog dreams, so therefore it has consciousness. It has some sort of other level to its thinking. We are above dogs because we're taller. We can drive. We can do things. We can talk. But we are literally all the exact fucking same. We breathe oxygen. We need water and food. Boom. 3 things. Just because you have more money doesn't give you the right to something. But if everyone could just think that, it would be a better world, obviously, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I always talk about how I don't believe in God, and it's like I'm an atheist, but there's some spiritual aspect to how I view life. And I was talking to these 3 old ladies, and they were just like in their 70s. And I enjoy talking to people who are really old because they always have some sort of wisdom to say.
Exactly.
But their wisdom that they gave me was to accept Jesus Christ in my heart. But
you accept yourself in your fucking heart.
But so instead of me just being like, listen, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in
well,
Jesus,
good thing you didn't, because that would have been.
I just smiled like, okay. Because what I'm saying is I'm not going. It's not my place to tell these people who are just far beyond understanding. If they've lived 70 years of their life and they've seen it one way,
it's working. Whatever they're doing is working.
Exactly. They were telling me they're married to their spouses, because it's all a group of girls or older ladies married to their spouses for 56 years. I'm like, wow, that's quite a feat, especially in modern days too. Like you might have had 40 years under your belt.
It was simpler,
But yeah. So I just there's a time and a place, I think, for me. If it's like a little kid, not a little kid, I mean, compared to them, if it's somebody my age, right, and they're talking to me about, well, you need to accept Jesus Christ in your heart, I would look at him like, no, I don't. But I'm not gonna, because
yeah,
I don't know how to explain
because
it.
You get it, because you realize that that's their opinion. You have your own opinion. You don't have to project your opinions out onto them.
Yeah, and then the whole conversation could have. This is what was going on in my mind. Is the whole conversation we had, because they were because I told them about my art and all that stuff, and they're just really interested in talking to me and stuff. And then they said that, and then I could have just told them I think that's what you believe in is 100% bullshit, and that entire conversation would have just been undermined.
Yeah.
They left that conversation. They don't need to know. I don't need to know that they're religious. They don't
Right.
need to know that I'm not religious, that sort of thing. But I was just kind of taken back because the stuff that they're telling me was the older people stuff. They were telling me don't settle for anyone. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea, instead of just to be with somebody. But yeah, for sure, if I would have said something about their faith, challenge their faith. Except for what I did do though, is I told them about puzzle pieces. This is kind of funny. I told him because I view life as a puzzle piece, because we're all made up of atoms. So 100,000 years ago, we still existed. It's just our atoms were just misplaced, and then 100,000 years later, it's put into this order to make humans. And then when we die, our atoms get spread out, and sometime maybe our atoms can rejoin. And the lady goes, "Yeah, that's called resurrection, and you'll be greeted in heaven." I was like, "Oh, okay." Okay, I'll see you later. But yeah, I think if you just take their people's point of view for what it is rather than what it can be, the thing that one little thing that always irritated me when I was growing up is, I guess when you're in your early 20s and somebody's like, oh, you drink that type of beer? Oh man, that's piss beer. Why? I never got that. It's why? It's just what I drink.
Yeah.
Oh, real men drink this thing.
Well, people in their 20s don't know shit.
I started to not really realize that, but there's some people that really surprise me for how young they are, of how smart they are, and they understand things. And I'm really intrigued by them because I want to know what they're going to be like when they're 25 or when they're 30, because they have the kind of a similar mindset that I do on, everybody's just a human. We're all just humans working this thing out. Like, your opinion is not better than somebody else's opinion.
Right.
It might have validation backed on experiences that you've had. Like, an 8-year-old kid's opinion on your art is going to be a vastly different person who spent 8 years in professional art telling you an opinion. That's everything. Like, it's validation of their opinion. But I'm just fascinated with just all ranges of people in general, just of how they think and why they think and where they see their life.
Yeah, I like observing the human race because, and I no part of me thinks that I'm above anyone or that sort of thing, because I don't think you can. I just think that there's a level of understanding you can reach. You can gain understanding the higher you go about about people and that sort of thing. And when I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but when I look at people, when I see their mannerisms and their interactions, I can kind of like pinpoint what kind of person they are, almost even kind of like what made them who they are, the sort of beliefs they are. But that's just because I've been watching people. I always watch people because I'm not fucking absorbed with myself. I'm comfortable with it. Trust me, I have a lot of things that I'm not comfortable with or confident in myself. What is the word? Insecurities. I have insecurities about myself, but I love looking at other people and just watching them because we are so interesting. A dog is so predictable. We love dogs, but they are so predictable. They eat, they pee, they shit, they go to sleep, they love you, right? Every once in a while a dog will do something cute. They can sit, they can handshake, yada yada yada. People have billions of tricks. They are the funniest people. Watching people's mannerisms at grocery stores or in just whatever sort of setting, we are so interesting. We're such an interesting species, and I think it's funny to look at people in the lens of unopinionated, unjudgmental thought processes when you're watching someone and just build from zero up. I'm looking at them, okay, he has dark hair, he has brown eyes. Why is he doing this? Why does he keep looking over his shoulder? He's looking at this pineapple, but he keeps looking around at people. What's he doing? Why is he looking at the pineapple? Oh, does he want people to notice that he's looking at the pineapple so they come up and talk to him? That sort of thing. You can start to dissect the situation like that. But
I was thinking about the pineapple guy. He's like, why is this guy standing there? Watch me check this pineapple out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you could go on forever, but that's so interesting. But people get so wrapped up in their own shit that they don't take a moment to just look around, and those are the people that are being observed by the observers. And that's sort of along the lines of I hate using the word awakening or being awake or that sort of thing, conscious, but being conscious,
mindfulness.
Yeah, mindfulness, awareness, mindfulness. I guess leaving oneself and observing, being a part of, the universe in which you are walking in right now.
One thing that I started noticing about myself is I thought that the way I speak and the way I convey everything I do is 100% known. Like, if I show interest in someone, it's pretty well known by the way I talk. It could be friendships, it could be romantic, it could be any of that. Like how I speak to somebody, they gather the information from what I'm saying in my body language that is clearly articulating what I feel. And I thought I was really good at that. Like, oh yeah, this person was interested in me, my friend, or like, I think he likes me, that sort of thing from me. When I realized that I'm probably really, really poor at it. Like the way that I convey my my thoughts into words leaves people wondering. Like, I don't
Did he like that pasta? Did he not like that pasta?
I think that I just had a conversation with him, but I have no idea if he actually likes me. Are we just hanging out? Like that sort of thing. I'm just like, I wonder why I'm that way. Because in my head, I think I'm perfectly clear, but I'm not, like, at all. I was like, okay, how do I go about making it more clear to people? Like, let's hang out, like that sort of thing. Because I'm very bad at feeling vulnerable, like, and I don't like feeling that because it kind of fucking sucks. You know? But to some degree, you kind of have to let that but I don't want to feel to the sense of being vulnerable in the way of like being crushed.
Yeah.
So I guess when that kicks in, that's when I start being coded, and I'll just start coding my stuff and hoping somebody has the fucking decoder in their brain. And so that's why my intentions are like 100% clear.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I wonder.
Everyone's got their guard up. Everyone's got their guard up because they don't want their Facebook profile to be negatively perceived. And that's all we are nowadays. I mean, there's tons of Black Mirror episodes about this, and there's been tons of discussions. But literally, we are not people anymore. We are walking profiles.
Well, what happens if you don't have one though?
Well,
I don't have a profile like at all.
Right. Well, I'm not saying everyone. I'm saying most people.
I guess to some degree, because that would be my profile.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just unprofiled.
But like, why are you wearing that Superman shirt? Because you want people to know that you like comics.
It could be true. Yeah.
You maybe not. That wasn't your intention on putting it on, but that was your intention. I'm wearing a Grateful Dead shirt. My intention of when I bought this, I wanted people to know that I like the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, it could be like I just enjoy Superman and you enjoy Grateful Dead, so I'm gonna put it on, and then it's actually displaying out to people that this is the stuff that we like. Like, oh, okay, because somebody might come up to me or come up to you and be like, I really like Grateful Dead, and then you say, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm like, oh yeah, you're wearing a Grateful Dead shirt. Be like, yeah, this is the only thing I had to clean was my brother's.
Yeah.
But
the intent in the beginning was for that, but now it's just a byproduct of you. It's an old profile picture that comes on every once in a while. You know what I mean? But we are walking profiles, which is fine, obviously, because that's expression, that's personal expression. But I feel more that in recent days, people are more walking profiles, and they're more reserved with, or not reserved, that's not the right word. They're more worried about how people perceive them, so they put on fronts, just like, and that's a product of Facebook, just because people post things on Facebook. They don't post bad shit. It's only good. They only want their stories to be rainbows and butterflies. Most people, obviously, there's always exceptions. Hashtag always exceptions to reality observation report. but nowadays people are, they want to be the perfect version. They want to be perfect. They want to look perfect. They want people to perceive them in a perfect sense, as opposed to actually being who they really are. And that creates a false sense of identity. When I first met you and we sat down, there was no, like, when you came into the place, whatever, I didn't feel any sense of false identity. I knew who you were. And there's people like that, but there's also people that I meet nowadays. When I meet them, I'm a little bamboozled, because I think to myself, I don't really fucking know this person. They're over here, they're over here, they're over here.
Yeah.
You're trying to make your algorithm so that my Facebook feed will pick it up and that will jive together, that sort of thing. But yeah, I just think individuality is not rare. That's not the proper word.
I know what you're saying, because like for me, I try to, like, what you see, like, if you talk to me outside of this podcast, I'm still going to talk about this stuff. I'm still me. I still will make jokes, like the office shit jokes and things like that. Like, yeah, that's just how I am. But I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm comfortable, because like you said, we all have insecurities and things that we want to work on. But one thing that I like is if somebody spends about a half hour with me just talking, they can get a feel of who I am. And so when they come into it later, they're not as off about, like, well, yesterday you were this way, and, this way you're today, like, what's going on? Because sometimes, I'll have a rare moment where I'm, like, internally processing stuff, and I'm just quiet. Be like, oh, hey, what's going on? Because they know me so well. They're like, hey, what's going on right now?
Right.
Like, oh, this is the reason what's going on. I'm like, oh, okay. And, like, that sort of thing. which is extremely vague, and people have no idea what the fuck I was talking about there. But yeah, I like being able to talk to somebody and then leave it as I know who that person is, that type of thing. So when they see me, like later, like they know that they can, and it's not like me putting on this front to be this way, because the way I view it is it's really fucking hard trying to remember like if I had to be this way with this person, and I have to be this way with that person, and this way I've told this person this thing, and I have to act like I'm this, like it's way too hard to keep that in my head.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna just do one thing. And
it's easier.
Yeah, and if you accept it for what
I'm an
it is,
asshole, you're an asshole, it's fine, whatever.
Yeah, you just don't like me because of the things I talk about. It's perfectly fine. There's tons of other humans out there you can talk to.
Well, that's my whole problem with. I know that the clinical definition of bipolar, manic depression, that whole thing, there's obviously clinical reasoning for it and clinical proof, and there actually are people who are clinically in that way, but I feel that some people they're just given that, and the term has lost some of its validity or some of its weight, because being bipolar, to me, that's just being normal. We're not if you're not bipolar, if you're not one happy 1 second, sad 1 second, then you're not fucking human, and I'm not trying to dig into the psychological aspect of it. I'm using it on more of a lesser I guess elevation, lesser of a term, but people are like, "Oh, he's bipolar. Oh, they're manic right now," and I just think that, well, that's normal. Would you want to talk to someone who's literally the same fucking person all the time? That's a robot to me. They might as well be AI or something like that. Bipolar, manic people, I love those kinds of people because they're eccentric. They're if you're bipolar or manic, in, like I said, the lesser of meaning of the term, to me that means you're real, because no one's ever fucking happy 24/7 or sad 24/7. There's give and take on both ledgers of that equation. But I just think that and that's what I'm trying to say, that I'm trying to connect it to with how people portray themselves, as they're trying to portray their profile picture. They want it to be congruent, they want it to be consistent, they want to be viewed as one person, the same always, you know what I mean?
But if it doesn't get enough likes, I'll just take it down because it wasn't
exactly. Oh yeah, as opposed to just being yourself. I feel like it's so much easier to just, and you know what, if you're vulgar, if you cuss a lot, if you piss people off, if someone doesn't like you for a certain reason, well, tough shit. You don't have to please everyone. Just, it's so much easier to, the moment that you stop caring and just say, fuck it, I'm just going to, obviously family members, close friends, you got to kind of curtail yourself a little bit. But coming into contact with new people, I have no reason, and I don't think anyone should have any sort of reason to mold themselves to appease this other person,
Yeah, but a lot of people do that though.
All the fucking time. It's so funny to watch people's mannerisms and how they talk when they're around certain people. Some people talk different to someone than they do someone else. They change their voice, their frequency, their octave, their syntax of their speaking.
I will say that I have done that one time and I wasn't even aware of it. I was in a country road in Missouri, and I was with one of my childhood friends, and we kind of got lost, and this guy's like, "Hey man, where y'all boys going to?" It's like, "Oh, we're headed down this way. We just need to know which road it was down." And then as we left to go on the right path, my friend goes, "Are you fucking with that guy?" It's like, no, why at all? He goes, as soon as he started talking, immediately you just had this accent. Like, I don't know why that came out.
Yeah, it's that weird instinctual, but I think that's a good trait, to kind of meet someone in the middle or meet someone on their own plane and counteract it to a certain extent.
But it wasn't like super thick. It was just like, "Oh yeah, man, we're going down." Like, I don't know why.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't think that we control. I'm reading that book, Biocentrism, and I don't think that we necessarily control a lot of the decisions that we make.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh shit, dude, I just fucking read something. They haven't officially announced it, but last Thursday they made some, I think they're subatomic particles, I can't remember how deep down the particles were, go 160 billionth or whatever faster than the speed of light. So if this theory, if it's accepted that they actually did, then Einstein's theory of relativity is out the door.
Yeah, because there's always been kind of a battle between quantum mechanics, and that would probably be in the quantum.
Wait,
state.
is it light or sound? Light. Yeah.
Well, light's the fastest. That's 300 kilometers per second.
Yeah, this goes faster.
300,000
This goes
kilometers,
faster, or these things go faster than the speed of light.
The thing with the speed of light is, I don't understand why people don't know that there's something faster than the speed of light. The Great Expansion, also known as the Big Bang, that was the inflation of it was way faster than light. Like we know, and there's nothing constant. Like in order. So for an example, you get a deck of cards, right? And let's say your deck of cards are all like, it goes diamonds, clubs, spades, and hearts. You automatically think that's order, but why is that an order? You're just giving meaning to the order, and then when you shuffle it up, right? Now you're saying you're making the order wrong. It's kind of like there's air particles in this room that they follow some specific order, but they don't. Like they can all go to one side of the room and leave the other room other side of the room a vacuum.
Right.
Like that could happen in order things. So like where I was getting at with that is the order of the speed of light. It probably can change. Not in the sense that light can go slower or just the max speed. It's because constantly the universe is changing.
Yeah, but this is scientifically about to be proven. They're having all these scientists come and check it.
There'll still be certain aspects of the general relativity because that follows in the same kind of lines of like, because you have quantum field theory and
right
fields.
But the whole thesis of it is nothing can move faster than the speed of light.
Well, that's what we're just knowing, and that's
what
why
is it? E equals
science.
mc squared.
Well, that's the what the fuck is that from? Well, that's just mass and gravitational, like how like bending of the. I'm probably sound like a fucking idiot right now, but just like, well, it's mass and energy and then gravity.
Right, but this is going to.
I drew a complete blank on that.
Yeah, this is supposed to. I mean, this could lead into figuring out what dark matter is and that whole sort of thing and all that.
Yeah,
it's a big scientific thing that I read.
The last big scientific thing that got me fired up was in 2013 with the discovery of the Higgs boson.
Oh yeah,
the particles that
they also just found.
See, I don't think that would be that much of a to me. If like they found something that's faster than the speed of light, I'm like, okay, cool. Now they can just solve other questions, like you said, dark matter or dark energy, whatever that is.
Gray matter, yeah.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't necessarily mean that like everything is thrown at the fucking window.
We're just one more step closer to figuring it out. But they also found other traces of water on Mars, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I would love the idea that we are we could be spermiated from Mars.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I've been considering. I think I was a Duncan Trussell podcast, but he doesn't eat octopus, or he was talking to someone that doesn't eat octopus anymore because they're
pretty sure it's alien.
Well, they're smart. They're super smart. They are like super conscious.
It would be each of their tentacles,
right,
is its own thing.
Right. It would be like eating a human, which I mean I would do that too,
as discussed earlier.
But I just think it's fascinating. I just have this feeling that the whole whatever the world and the United States is focusing on right now is so fucking lame and so just, I guess the right word is annoying. And that's just my personal opinion, obviously. Of course, I don't think that people should be shot and killed and all this sort of terrible stuff that's going on, but focus on science. They're about to prove that there can be something faster than the speed of light. Keep digging down that. Why would we not want to go down that road and figure out why we're here? I don't think they'll ever figure out what consciousness is. At least we've talked about that in a quantifiable essence. I think
though, because I really thought about how to figure out what consciousness is it's I think three things. One is measuring psychedelic use within the brain, which is neuroscience, and then figuring out the quantum world, like with quantum field theory. I think those technically two things: neuroscience, which is internal processing of the world. By world, I mean the universe, and then understanding the universe. Those things will link you to consciousness somehow.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Because for some reason, I think there's hand in hand consciousness, or I'm sorry, neuroscience and quantum mechanics. Those two, for some reason, to me, seem to be like sister like ideas.
Yeah. I just don't think that they'll ever be able to put what consciousness is on a piece of paper.
Like in a math formula.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think you'll ever be able to quantify your thought to take a shit. Well, that's a bodily function. Your thought to, oh, I'm thirsty. But in that book I'm reading, you are not really making the decision. Barry is not really making the decision. The brain which is in your body is making the decision. You're just becoming aware of it.
That's why I think free will is an illusion.
I see it, but I don't think it is, because I think that right now I'm pretty sure that I'm connected between my consciousness and my mouth right now. I'm choosing the words to put out. There's no sort of subconscious level. I can't believe that someone else is telling me to say what I am saying right now. I'm saying what I'm saying right now because I'm processing what I'm saying.
No, it's not somebody else telling you what to say. It's your body telling you what to say, what to react to.
Right, but that's coming from my consciousness.
Well, I'm not disregarding consciousness isn't real. I'm saying that free will as a human isn't real. Like consciousness, we clearly can tell is real. Like
Yeah.
we feel like we're an operator behind this, meat body type of thing, or human experience suit, if whatever you want to call it. But because of that, everything that we have is made up of some sort of matter, and the brain processes things. So why is it that I enjoy tea but I don't enjoy coffee? And if somebody says, okay, well, you have free will to like coffee. No, I don't. Because
I think we talked about this last
'cause
week.
if I want to have coffee, my brain is telling me to want to have coffee.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But it seems like that consciousness is different to me than what free will is. It's our body. Like, why am I moving my hands?
Yeah.
It's like when you talk to somebody.
You just became aware that you were moving your hands.
Yeah, and that's what consciousness is to me. But I don't have free will to move my hands. My hands are just going to move. And if I decide to move my hand, that's because my brain is telling me to move my hand. And it just seems like I'm the one making the decision because it feels like I'm an operator. That's the whole idea. Like when you meditate, is try to observe the world differently. Try to observe the world through sitting in that chair and feeling what it's like to have the weight of the top half of your body being pressed into the chair. And what's the chair feel like? Are you slightly sweaty? That sort of thing, because we constantly live inside of our own head, feeling like that what we see through our eyes, because everything that we can experience is centrally located. Like, of course, you can feel things with your feet, but I'm saying, like, you can feel things hitting your face. How often do you feel the wind and truly understand that there's wind on your face?
You're just becoming aware at that moment.
Yeah, but I think free will is just an illusion.
Yeah, I mean that's just, we've talked about that before.
I know, but that's the reason why. And that when I hear stuff like by the biocentrism book, that just to me just proves to me that free will is just an illusion.
But see, the funny thing is though is that like the double blind or the double slit experiment, that coincides with that because they only act a certain way if they're being perceived, and I think that fits hand in hand with this fan is only blowing on me if I consciously am aware that this fan is blowing on me. You only exist because I've decided to be consciously aware of your presence in this room. You know what I mean?
That's a solipsism of view, like a solipsistic state view of how things are. Because regardless if you're here or not, that fan's gonna blow.
Right.
It's just you're not here to feel it, to understand it on your body.
It's not in my world. If I left this room right now, it would still exist because it's in your world. If you left, it would still exist because it's in the room's world. But you're just not choosing to be aware of it or to admit that it's there right now.
Yeah, this is the thing that I try, because I think this way. It's so hard for me to get out of that mindset of like, do things exist without, like, it's gonna sound really stupid, but this is what I think is, do my mom and dad truly exist? Like, they can give me a text right now. How do I know that they're not a robot?
Right.
Trying to convince me that they exist.
Right.
But then when I go to see them, I see them like, oh yeah, I know they exist, or they send me a picture. How do I know?
Right.
Like, like in Grand Theft Auto, like if you go from point A to point B doesn't exist till you get there. It's just how the programming works. Like, how do I know?
Right. That's why objects you buy should be for rent. I only want. Okay, this fan is $30. How about I give you $15 because I'm not choosing to buy its entire existence. I'm only choosing to buy half of its existence because I will only be present when it's there half of the time. I'll give you $15 for this fan because I'm not going to see it all the time. I'm only going to see it when I'm in the room with it. You know, that sort of thing. I mean, that's kind of like a weird analogy, but
like right now, does your basement exist?
no,
Is it?
not to me.
So that's the whole idea between.
I'm choosing. I know that it exists, but I'm not there to make it exist.
Yeah, and so that's the idea of observing the wave or a particle. It only acts a certain way when you observe it, right? Things only exist when we observe it.
Right.
But the thing is, like an example is when we first saw the Andromeda Galaxy, because the Andromeda Galaxy is getting closer to the Milky Way galaxy in which we live in. We just thought that it was like a star or something. We didn't understand that there's other galaxies out there. Did that actually exist until we saw it? Until we observed it?
Right. It had to because you tested it. It's 8 million or.
But what's observing things? You know, like just because we're human, the carpet exists because maybe your dog is observing. But like everything, the thing is like, they always say in an isolated system, nothing can ever be isolated. Everything is within everything. The universe is within like everything contained in the universe is contained within the universe, and everything that can be observed is being observed. It's just not by you.
Right.
It's like somebody, like my mom and dad, for example, are observing their phones. I'm not, and then they're texting me, that type of thing. So it all exists.
Are you in trouble?
No, I'm not in trouble. I just use that for an example.
You're grounded, Barry.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know if that fear will ever go away of like getting disciplined by your parents.
Yeah.
Like my mom said, like when she was even older, she still felt that way. Like when she's in her 40s, yeah, I'm still gonna get disciplined. But that's kind of how I view why I think quantum mechanics and neuroscience go hand in hand, because a particle like an electron takes seemingly every single possible pathway, like the whole vibrational waves of where it could be at just collapse, and that's where it's at because you observed it. It's happening internally.
Yeah.
How does it know that it's being observed? That type of thing. So
I don't think
that's why I think it's like a weird.
It's a for everlasting loop, because when you look at the double slit experiment, if you don't look at them, they act as waves, right?
Well, it's
vice versa, particles or waves.
Well, they can act as both. Like a light can act.
But
as
it
a
has to
particle
do. It has to do with observation, conscious observation. So that then makes me think that.
Well, that's the same thing with quantum entanglement. Is like you have two things, right? You have let's say the spin of something is spinning. It's going up, right? And then the entangled one will go down. But they're all spinning in every single direction until you measure one, and then it makes the other one do the opposite.
Yeah.
So like if you pass one through unobserved, you'll automatically see the other one because they're entangled. It's really, and it happens. This is why I think the whole speed of light thing, it can be faster because information travels faster. You take that one single, I don't remember the name of them, but you're measuring one on the other end of the universe, and the observable universe right now is 13.9 billion light years because that's as far as light has taken to travel to see us. You put the other one 13.9 billion light years away, and you're gonna observe it, right? It'll automatically make the other one 13.9 billion light years away immediately do the exact opposite.
Right.
How is that information traveling? It would take 13.9 billion years if it was traveling at the speed of light to affect the other one, but it happens instantaneously. That's why I think things can be faster than the speed of light.
Well, and I think that time is just linear. Time in the sense that we define it now as linear, but time is not linear.
It's easier to define time as being linear.
Yeah, but I don't think that time is actually a thing. I think that time is entangled in all of this. I do believe that I'm moving my hand through the air right now, but I think that there's dimensions that I'm going in and out of. I'm just perceiving this. It's like a block of cheese. We are just in this block of cheese. You and we're in this block of cheese, and I move my arms around and stuff, but there could be other people in this block. That's not the best analogy, but in this block of cheese, we just can't see them. And I just think that's how time works too. I
Well,
can't.
well, the whole idea of I think I maybe said this, but like if you have synchronized watches to the like nanosecond synced, and you take one and go on ocean level, and then you go to the highest altitude on Earth with those.
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah, what's the real time?
Right.
They're both right.
It's relative to the observer.
Exactly. So like, and even so like right now happening. Explain right now on the sun. Well, we see the sun's light 7 minutes after it, projects light. This light is 7 minutes old. That now is not really. There's no such thing as a specifically now moment
Right.
happening all across the
Well,
entire
because now, now what you're speaking is actually a fragment of a second because your brain had to process it.
Yeah, it's always in the future.
Yeah, and your brain has to get it to your brain is what is in the now, quote unquote, the now. Your mouth is the communication is a fragment of a second later.
I always think about like if you we'll take time, we'll freeze time. Like you're like, oh, what would you do if you freeze time? Well, first thing I would try to do is shove in molecules of air into my lungs because everything is just stagnant.
Right.
I can't breathe because they're just there, so I have to go around like somehow push them in. But then how am I able to be moved? And some people view time not as like a constant progressing through things of that is measurable, but it's if we didn't have tiny little changes, there would be no time. So like you moving your hand in and out is pushing molecules, moving molecules, and they're just moving ever so slightly, and that one makes a change and make a change, and we just perceive it as time.
What if it would be crazy if you took away all devices that told time? Because if you take away the measurement system of how we measure time, you're just there. What time? What do you mean? What time is that? I don't fucking know what time it is. I'm just here.
Well, they used to do that.
That would take away. Yeah,
the
that
sun though, the location of the
right,
sun
right.
is-
That would literally take away planning for the future. That would be the only way that you could literally get someone to, not the only way, but that would be a way that you could get someone to live in the moment, because time is what we use to quantify what's coming and what was. But if you take away those two things, you're just now. You don't know.
That's a weird thing about humans is that I understand there's a tangible thing called the past. And I jokingly say, because this is kind of my view on my whole life existence is, let's say, pick whatever favorite movie is your favorite movie. When you're watching the movie, you're seeing slices of that film. Well, what if you take the entire piece of film and look at it? It all happened. The film exists. There's a beginning, middle, and end, right? That you can go to the very end of the movie and then go to the very back or the very front of the movie, and whatever is happening in that film for those characters is there now. It's just you're perceiving the entirety of it. That's how I view life. And Grant Morrison, that's how he views it as a comic book. If you open a comic book, the characters inside the comic book, that is there now. So even if you go to the back and understand their ending of the story, that's there now. But if you go to the front, you can't explain to them what happened in the back because that's there now. But you're just viewing their entire time. So there is something that we have is the past, and we know that there's something in the future because we're constantly moving into the future. Is that we can't get out of that mindset. Is we try to think about how we could do things differently based on our past experiences to help navigate us through the future, but those things never happen. And the reason is because if you tried your best to plan your life out to get to this exact moment, like, right, let's say you're 5, because I think 5-year-olds can kind of understand, thinking and stuff like that. Is like you go to them and like, okay, in 25 years, you need to figure out how to be talking about the specific conversation that we're having now. Like, I have no fucking idea how to do it. You just did it. Like what is your 35, 45, 55-year-old self want? I don't know.
Right.
All I know is what the 30-year-old self wants.
Yeah, and you're using time to tell that. 55 years. Take that out of the equation. 3 years ago, nope, take it out of the equation. If you take those sorts of things out, if you make the words that we use and the instruments we use to measure time, that would be fucking sweet. If you just take it away, like, I don't know what time it is right now. I'm just here. I'm doing what I'm doing. And then if you think in your mind, well, what am I going to be doing in 5 minutes? Nope, can't think about 5 minutes because that's a measurable thing. What am I going to do in a little bit? I feel like...
Well, it'd still be time. You're that in that sense of time. What it is like a placeholder for something. Like, okay, this is the fan right here,
Yeah.
right? That's the future. We'll just use that for an example. So you're giving a name. 8 o'clock. That is 8 o'clock today, July 25th, 8 o'clock. That is a specific moment. It's like a tangible thing, but it's not really tangible. It's more like a service of reality rather than a good of reality. If that makes sense at all.
Right.
So if I say in 1 year from right now, you get an idea of a specific moment, but everything else that it goes to it is unknown.
Right.
But what is known is 1 year.
The
from
end
now.
date. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, okay, like a good example of how to like articulate that is, my friend's getting married August 25th. So I know that there's an event going to happen in August 25th, which is a certain amount of time right now, which is fucking ludicrous to think about. Not marriage or anything like that, but the idea that there has to be a ton of sun cycles for us to spin around the sun to get to a moment to arrive at this event in order for it to happen. That's how I kind of view what people think about when they say time. And it's like, duh. It's exactly like, okay, Christmas of 2018 is gonna happen. Yeah, but it's kind of like we measure something that doesn't exist,
Right.
to get to something that will exist. So instead of, because I try to view life for myself as me being 80 years old and looking back in my life and trying to change it to the thing that I want it to be. So right now my memory is being 30.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I've been at work. I stare at the fucking clock all the time, and I'm constantly monitoring time. But this week I stopped. I don't consciously look at the time on my computer. I don't consciously look at the time on my phone. I'm just doing my tasks and this and that. And it goes by so much faster when you take the measurements of time
Yeah.
out.
Hey, pause this for a second. Think about it.
I need a refill on my drink.
We're standing on the streets, looking all around, wondering how this all went down. It used to be that you and me were the only ones that had it figured out. Let's make a new plan and run away. Never look back at this place. You and I know that it's killing me. We gotta get up before it ruins our dreams.
From break.
Dude, I was just checking out my my junk mail, and I got this weird fucking message, and I didn't open it up or anything, but I was like, what is this number combo thing? And I was like, oh shit, dude, this is a password of mine. And this is from Wednesday, and it says, let's cut to the chase. I'm not gonna say what it is your password. Moreover, I'm aware about your secret, and I have evidence of this. You do, and it's like, dot, dot, dot. I'm like, what the fuck is this, dude? Because that was like a password of mine that I don't use anymore.
That's fucking creepy.
Yeah, I kind of want to click on it, but I don't want my phone to be fucking hacked.
No, they'll steal all your money, dude.
You think so?
People scam. The scamming
How
in
the
this
fuck
world.
would they know that that's my password, though, dude? Because as soon as like, what the fuck is that? And then I was staring at it, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what that acronym is.
Dude, the scamming stature in this world nowadays
I'll
is...
just give his name out because he's a shithead. It is. Well, hold on, let me get back to it. His name is Eric Pritzak, which is ERICKPRITSAK.
Jerk.
But that's not. Wait a second, maybe that.
I posted a picture of you on Instagram.
Did you?
Yeah.
Why? Why would you do that? This Eric Pritzak.
I scratched your face out
Did
there.
you?
Yeah. I
This-
got you.
I'm the blurry guy. Okay.
My name is Blurry Face. Look at this. Look.
That's awesome. What did the thing say on it though?
I just put Barry during recording doesn't want his face shown. It doesn't even have one single like yet, so.
Well, that's okay. More likes equals will slowly reveal what I look like.
When we get to 250 listens on my measurement system, we'll reveal your chin.
That's like slowly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to know, I'm a cross between a giraffe. I'm just gonna make some weird shit up. Say it. What?
We're at 175 listeners.
That's pretty good.
On this day today, the first test tube baby was born. By the way.
Oh, really? So what year?
I don't know. 1945 maybe.
One of my friends is a test tube baby.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty sweet.
And the best part about it is he's part.
1978, world's first test tube baby was born.
That's pretty cool. So are they 40 now? 50 now? They're 50 now?
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday.
Oh, another thing happened. Hold on, I just lost it. Mussolini fell from power.
He fell off his powder.
Fell off his powder keg. Oh, what was it? It was cool. Oh, Dylan goes electric for the first time at the Newport Folk Festival.
Oh, that actually was a huge deal.
Bob Dylan, yeah.
Yeah.
People were pissed. I'd be like, shut the fuck up. Let him play.
Well, the thing that like really gets me, and for some reason, Beck in my mind is the only musician that doesn't get shit for it. He's just trying different things at that time, you know? He just wants to see where his art can go.
He's being open-minded.
Yeah. Well, anyways, my friend who's a test tube baby, he's part of the Ugly Club. I don't know if he's a real test tube baby. That's what he always just said to everybody. He was a test tube baby. And I think his mom even said he was a test tube baby. So I don't know if they're just, fucking with me or not. But he's part of the Ugly Club.
What's the Ugly Club?
It's when you're a baby and you're really fucking ugly. And they give you this card and say you're part of the Ugly Club.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so mean.
Yeah, he's got a card that says he's ugly.
That's like setting a child up for fucking unsuccess.
But I think it was because he was being born close to Halloween, so it was kind of like a joke thing. Because I remember I was going through some of his shit and I found this card, and I was like, "Dude, what is this card?" And he's like, kind of embarrassed that. I was like, "Dude, why don't you just throw the card away so nobody can find it?" If you're embarrassed, you're part of the Ugly Club. I would tell everybody I'm part of the Ugly Club.
Should we start a live video on Facebook?
Maybe next week.
Yeah, we need something to plan for it. We don't have any followers on Facebook anyways.
Yeah, how are you gonna get stuff? I'm really fucking disturbed by this Eric.
Dude, the internet is a terrible thing. I get the spam that I get is so awful. The return on those has to be so bad. Why do people waste their fucking time? Oh, our Twitter page gets this fucking spam bot or something keeps messaging us asking us if we want podcast promotion, pay for podcast promotion, and it's like I give you real reviews, real listens, $5 for 2 days or some shit like that.
It's just pass.
Yeah.
But as soon as you the thing is as soon as I open that email, my shit is hacked.
Your phone's gonna explode and you're gonna an alien baby's gonna crawl out of your fucking eyeball and then run over here, run up my leg, fucking jab my eyeball out, plant its fucking eggs inside of my carcass, and they're gonna come out of my fucking stomach. Then they're gonna take over the cat and the dog. Then they're gonna run out of the front. Dude, that's how they fucking take over.
Yeah.
Spam bots. Spam is from what if it's from aliens?
I like the idea. I don't really like the idea. It's more the joke of when you create AI and you program the AI to destroy spam. It's like, oh, the best way to destroy spam is to kill all humans. If you get rid of humans, they can't create spam.
Yeah, because there's no one to click it.
Yeah.
If an alien jumped out of my phone and crawled in my face, I would not be mad about it.
I think if that actually happened, I would be hallucinating. I was like, oh, I'm talking about hallucination.
Here's the thing, though. It just takes over your fucking meat body. I want to think of a cool term.
I call it my experience suit.
Yeah, I
Your
like
time
that.
suit.
Yeah. But I want it more to be like a rubber glove. Like, you know, because like you take off a rubber glove and it's just like thin, something along the lines of that. Thinking of an analogy that has to do with like rubber, my latex, my soul's latex, my soul's condom.
Yeah, the condom of the soul.
Yeah, that fucks the earth and tries to make creative babies with it, but sometimes it won't let me because I suck.
Maybe that's what it is, because you can't spew your goo everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, your consciousness goo. So because you're trapped in your soul condom.
Yeah. But if I did get killed by an alien out of my phone, that would be sweet, because then I would have that split-second knowledge knowing that they were real, but then my soul, my consciousness would just go somewhere else, and I'd be fucking forever happy.
I thought about... I had this really weird dream, and I tried to try to figure out the context of it, and I think I figured it out because I had it on Friday. And you want me to explain what the dream is?
Yes.
Okay, so
Dream segment.
Okay, so we should. Oh, dude, we like.
We should do that.
Like
We should do that.
Like a dream segment, and have like some sounds to it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so on this week's episode of Dream Segment, I was still living at the house that I was before when I moved here. So it was my friend's house, who has since moved out of there now. He was shutting this garage door, and he's like, "They're coming, they're coming." And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I see him run underneath the garage door as it's going down, and his dog goes under as well. And how his house was set up is like, he's got the whole house, and by his garage, you go 5 feet over, and it's a just giant retaining wall that leads to maybe like 15 foot down. And crawling out of this retaining wall was these like cherub pixie people, and one of them was red, and she was staring at me, and the other two were like green and blue, and they were they ran away, and I was staring at this girl, and the garage door closed down completely, because what I was thinking in my head is like,
Was she ugly?
I'll get to that in here in a second. So I was looking at her.
You're gonna bang her, aren't you?
in the dream.
The alien cherub baby girl.
So I was staring at it and like, okay, don't be afraid, because anything's like, if anytime I feel fear, I try to go towards it rather than go against it.
It's your mom.
And so
You're gonna bang your mom.
and so I was looking at her, and she smiled, and she had these weird like sharp
All dudes
want
want to bang their moms.
And then it was like short.
That's not real though.
And in my head, I was
No, they want women that are like their moms.
yeah, they want women like their
Yeah,
moms.
that's what I meant.
All men want to bang their moms.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
And so I was staring at her, and I was thinking, I've never seen another humanoid creature. Like, this is proof. And then I thought, I wonder if we can procreate with it. And so I walked over, not being afraid of this thing, and it wasn't afraid of me.
Finger banged it.
And then it got close to me, and then embraced me, but like it really, really hard embraced me.
Like an awkward, like religious hug.
Not like that. It was more just like forceful, trying to figure out what I am. And then all of a sudden, these vines started swirling up behind, like around us, and I could slowly see the light peeking through this. And then out of these vines, as we were being embraced, her touch was slowly softening, and then it turned in these flowers, like these beautiful flowers, were blooming everywhere. But while she embraced me, I realized this cherub pixie creature that I've never seen before was like the ultimate form of beauty I've ever seen. And
That's
then
sweet.
the embracement of it was like, I was terrified.
You should draw it.
I was thinking about that, the whole embrace with
Yeah.
the vines and the
Yeah,
flowers.
that'd be fucking badass.
I was thinking about that. But what for me was like, I was afraid of this thing, but instead of trying to run from it and go underneath the door or the garage, like my friend said, and maybe this is the point of view I was trying to think of, is why did I see those other two, the green and the blue ones, run away? Is maybe they were telling this cherub pixie the same thing, is run away, but we both embraced our fears, and within that moment of embrace was like the ultimate form of beauty.
Maybe the higher meaning to that is just that embrace your fears to get to a higher state
see
of
the beauty of it.
yeah. I have to go get my fucking car registered tomorrow. That's my biggest fear is going and dealing with the DMV and all that kind of stuff. But
I like how the dream segment just immediately goes over to like normalcy.
but you know how good it feels when you leave the DMV and your car's registered and it almost feels like you were on trial for murder and you got off with it. That's
Yeah, I've always had positive experiences.
dude. Well, because Illinois is fucking easy.
Well, Illinois doesn't have DMVs.
Yeah, dude, Missouri, you have to have inspection. You have to have previous 2 years of proof of paid property tax. You have to have your insurance. You have to have the 1973 world's worst record in your hand, mint condition, unopened. You have to give them the keys to your car. You have to promise them your firstborn baby. You have to give them your
Fingernail
left
clippings.
testicle
Yeah,
if
the
it's
testicle imprint.
yeah, if it's the diameter's over 3 inches. You have to give them a fingernail from every single U.S. president that was ever president of the United States.
In order.
Yeah, exactly. In order. And then on top of that, if you can't recite the Star Spangled Banner in 15 different languages, they don't let you drive.
But backwards though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. In
And-
backwards form, not word form, but
Yeah,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
then the average eye test.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then on top of it all, you have to kiss the person behind the desk's cheek, and if they don't turn into a unicorn and fly off, you don't get to drive.
Yeah, see,
That's the process for driving in this. But
yeah,
here's the thing. That's the process for driving, but if I want a gun, if I want an AK-40, if I want a AR-15 tomorrow, I can literally walk into Shields and walk out with one.
yeah.
I don't give a shit about.
Well, more people die from driving than guns, though.
Right, but I don't really have a stance on gun kind of thing. Whatever. I respect guns. I was raised to respect guns, so I respect guns. But I can see the what's the word? The hypocrisy in the system, and the funniness that it's easier to get a gun than it is to get your fucking car license.
Yeah, see, when I turned 30, all I did was just go there and... Well, because like I said, Illinois doesn't have DMVs. They have Secretary of State offices.
Yeah.
That's just what they're called. So I just walked in
Yeah,
there.
Mercedes. When we had to
Come
get
at
our
it.
car registered, she was like, "What's going on? Why do you have to do all this?" I'm like, "That's how it is in Missouri."
Yeah. Yep, not doing that.
Yeah,
I heard
I-
Kansas is just as bad.
yeah. I have to do it tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I have everything in order though, so it goes smoothly. But that feeling of leaving there is just
I remember when I was 16 and my dad went me to go get like my license and everything. And
look at them. It's a rare sight.
cleaning each other.
Yeah,
They're just 69ing this.
they are. I gotta get a video. or a picture.
But my
Oh, damn it.
my dad went with me to get my license, and we were going through like the birth records and all that and stuff, and then my dad had no idea like that the birth certificate with your baby feet imprints was one they can't accept.
They can't.
They can't accept. No, well, they're taking your fucking baby feet picture, dude, or imprints with ink on it and stuff. And my dad's just quick to just freak out about stuff when things aren't going right. So the guy's like talking to him. He's like, "Yeah, we're actually gonna have to need your birth certificate." My dad's like, "Well, what is this? This is our birth certificate, or this is his birth certificate right here." And he's like, "No, that's just something they took your feet imprints. That's not your birth certificate." And I was like, "Then why the fuck would they give that to me when he's born?" My parents kept that thing in a safe for like 16 years, waiting the day to use it, and they couldn't use it.
That is fucked up.
Yeah, so we had to go buy a birth certificate because they didn't give us one.
Why did you have to pay for it?
Yeah, it was like $10, but I think it was like $10, and then you pay $1 extra for more copies. So it was like, my dad's like, "Give me 5 of them," because like if I fuck up and lose one of them, then I can have more, wherever they're at. But yeah,
That you can have more birth certificates?
we can have more of the same.
More of the same. So you could fake them. You could fake your name, and then you could essentially create fake people.
If you wanted to, but what would be the purpose of that?
Of creating fake birth certificates? You create fake people, then you can open fake credit card accounts over in their names, and then you can get more money.
I'm still disturbed by the fact that guy knew my password.
The spam mail?
Yeah, how the fuck did he know?
Because they're spammers.
Yeah, but how do they know the password?
Because they had
Tracking my keys?
probably.
It was
Yeah.
saying- I don't have that password anymore. I know what it was for too.
What?
I think it was when I had Facebook like 5 years ago. It was my password for.
It's because they're not real people. They're fucking aliens, and because they're in UFOs above the Earth.
And they're just trying to get some sort of
Yeah.
information.
No,
out
I
of
think
you.
what they do is if they break in through your phone or whatever, then they can get your pictures and stuff. So then they can carbon copy you up there and then send you down. But they need your credentials.
Jesus, this cat's fucking scratching the back of this.
But then they need your credentials. Magnus, stop it. But then they need your credentials to take on the rest of your
I'm afraid there's gonna claws come out and just gut my back.
No, he can't get through the back of that couch.
I don't. How long has he been digging there for? He probably could.
I don't know. So they take your credentials and then they come down on Earth and but maybe they're just you in a different, maybe that's how dreams happen and that's how other people are in different dimensions. It's because spammers are aliens. So they take your information, they get a picture of you, and then they put you in a different dimension and they're just you in a different dimension. And when you fall asleep in your dream, that's when you meet them.
Oh, weird.
That's all spamming is actually really for.
Yeah, I think this cat's gonna go through and just like. And just,
Oh, he's swatting on the other side. He's swatting. Look at him peering. Magnus. Look at his little paw.
you little shit.
But yeah, I hate spam.
Not the food.
The food.
I don't think I've ever had spam food.
Really?
Yeah, it looks gross. It's like.
Dude, spam is you've never had spam?
I don't think so.
Spam is amazing. You cook spam on, all you need is a can of spam, slice it into like 1/4-inch things, throw it on a skillet, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Dude, that shit is money. It's like it's like Hoosier calamari or like Hoosier what's the word? It's like Hoosier fucking what are the little fish eggs?
Caviar.
Caviar. Yeah, it's like Hoosier caviar, dude. What's even better than spam is Scrapple. Scrapple is like the shit that they didn't want to put in hamburger, and they throw it and they put it in like a little patty. But you get Scrapple, and you put it in like hash browns and shit, and you put that in. Well, first of all, let me preface with a slinger. So a slinger, do you know what a slinger is?
No.
So a slinger is like hash browns, chili, eggs, bacon, lots of shit. Just lots of gross shit. Sausage gravy, cheese, onions, whatever. It's basically just like a breakfast smorgasbord. When you're hungover as fuck and you don't know what to order, you just order a slinger or what have you, and they just pile all that shit on top of it. And it's kind of just like, oh, well, I can't make up my mind. But there's this place in Kirkwood where we go, and they have Scrapple, and I always get Scrapple on my slinger. But it's basically just like a meat patty. It's got a bunch of like other like random smorgasbord shit, but it's so fucking good. It's so tasty. It's like it melts in your mouth. It's definitely not good for you. Every time you eat it, it probably adds like 15 fucking pounds.
Yeah, let me eat that then.
Yeah. You've never had a slinger?
No, I don't.
What?
If something that sounds like shit, I'm not.
It's
eating
not
that.
like an Illinois thing.
It's just like where you just put.
Dude,
It
Illinois.
looks like the back of the house cleaning onto a plate.
No, so Illinois, do you ever watch Game of Thrones?
So I've read the books, and I've seen seasons 1, 2, 3, and 5. I skipped 4.
Okay, so Game of Thrones, there's north of the wall is where these like degenerate fucking gypsy wild people
Yeah,
live.
the wildlings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've read this. I know.
Oh,
that.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I've read
yeah,
the books.
okay.
More so than watched the movies. or
That's
the
what
TV
I
shows.
think Illinois is to Missouri. Like the wall is
We're the wildlings.
yeah, because
Yeah, but you're talking about weird ass gross.
no, it's not weird, dude.
Processed
it's
meats.
such good fucking.
That shit sounds like wildling food, man.
No,
I think you're the wildlings.
no,
Yeah.
no.
You're talking
dude.
about back of the house cleaning under your plate with a bunch of shit on potatoes.
It's not back of house. It's You don't.
Is there like macaroni and
It's
cheese?
plate
There's
savers,
casserole.
dude. No, listen. Slingers is plate savers. So you go to fucking Denny's and you order Waffle House, and you get the super big breakfast thing where you have like eggs on one plate, you have hash browns on the other plate, you have bacon on the other plate, this, that, whatever. You have all that shit.
They just make the version of it in your stomach on one plate.
Exactly. And they just throw it all on one fucking plate, and you just fucking throw hot sauce on it and just you eat it up.
Yeah, it sounds like exactly what Wildland
But
do.
Mercedes didn't even know what it was when we first started dating. I was like, oh my God, you've never heard of a slinger. And there's lots of things that she has not been informed about, and it's because of Illinois, dude. The DMV may be easier over in Illinois.
Well, we don't have DMVs.
Exactly. You don't even know what a DMV is.
Yeah, but that sounds like like you guys have the worst process of getting IDs. You just instead of using other plates, you had the bright idea of just throwing all this shit on one plate, and then you have these weird pattied like meats. Like that sounds like
No. It's a staple of Missouri. I think it's a Midwest thing. I've had it other places. I've had
slingers.
it. Yeah,
and stuff.
like
There's probably
slingers.
slingers in Illinois too.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Because,
I think near Carbondale, I went to this cafe
More
one
southern.
time. Yeah, I went to this cafe one time, or this like diner one time on the way back from a show, and had it. But dude, whenever I went to Mizzou in Columbia, there was this thing called the Matt's Dilemma, and it was hash browns. It was like a fucking massive amount of hash browns. It was eggs. It was sausage gravy, bacon, onions, jalapenos, cheddar cheese. All this shit just fucking stacked. And dude, on like Friday, Saturday nights when we would get hammered, we'd walk there or drive there. We didn't drive there, but we would walk there. We would walk there, and like there was like different levels of it. And it was like you could get like 1 egg, which was like the smaller one. There was like 2 eggs. There was like 3 eggs, but I would always get the 4 egg. And dude, I would just eat that shit. It was so fucking good.
Yeah, I like things separate.
So you're a plate waster.
No, I can put it on the same plate. It just makes room.
Yeah, that's true.
I have this
But
plate
actually,
dead in the center. There's
no, I do like having separate plates sometimes, because sometimes I don't like to mix things.
like because I'll eat oranges in the morning because I think oranges are the way to keeping you not sick. I'll put that on a separate plate or in a bowl. I'm not putting my eggs next to my oranges. Not doing that.
Well, yeah, fruit is not. I don't think that fruit should be like a breakfast item. It's an intermittent item. It's like
no, I eat oranges for breakfast.
Oh no, dude.
You have to have oranges, man. I'm telling you. If
you can
don't-
have vitamin C. I supplement oranges with vitamin C pills.
No, but the orange, it's the ending of the meal. You finish your breakfast, right? And then you just eat an orange afterwards. It's like when I'm done eating lunch, I'll eat a pear.
Well, when I'm done eating my breakfast, I take my vitamins.
Yeah, but what flavor are you getting from that? It says like foot.
It tastes like orange. They're gummies. They taste like orange.
There's gummy ones.
Yeah.
Did you know they have child antidepressants and gummies now?
What?
Yeah.
So they're trying to make us less depressed?
Yeah, but that shit doesn't work. But it's like, oh, I'm gonna eat a gummy. Yeah, fruit snacks. But they're just eating like their mind control.
Oh, so that's how they're trying to control. So that's
Little
their
kids, yes.
that's their newest
Introduction to kids who are like 3, 4, 5, 6.
to control them. Yeah, to put them
Yeah.
on the conveyor belt and just get them out.
Yep, with gummies.
Wow. You think that shit was in Flintstones vitamins?
Yes, Flintstones vitamins. Everyone who got off Flintstone vitamins after a certain age, kind of had an awakening. I think. 'Cause-
Really?
Yeah, because I remember eating Flintstones vitamins, and then one day I was like, these things aren't good. They're sour. They're really
Dude,
sour.
I loved Flintstones vitamins.
So did I. And then when I thought like, oh, they're sour now, I'm gonna stop eating them. And
But
it's
do you
like,
think that was before the
That was-
government was trying to control
nope,
people?
They were still trying to control people through Flintstones.
So,
vitamins.
but luckily, I mean, I had Flintstones vitamins, but did we break away from them?
Yeah, you don't eat them now, do you?
Well, no, but I take other vitamins.
Well, Flintstones vitamins for yeah, they're probably controlling you through those vitamins. Stop eating vitamins. They're not doing anything for you.
I don't think I can be controlled at this point. I think there's a ripe age for the government to control you.
Yeah, it's like before you have your pineal gland.
Well, it's when you're in fucking school.
Yeah, but I meant your prefrontal cortex.
Well, here's my
try to
thought.
indoctrinate them with.
Yeah,
Flintstone
here's my
violence.
thought. So literally, I feel like the moment that you become conscious, or not conscious, but when you start to like develop your own personality and whatnot, is kind of around the age in kindergarten, right? So that's when they have that shit figured out. So they're like, throw them in. Let's put them in the system right when they can start deciding who they are. So then you enter the school system then, and then they just control who you are. They control what you hear. They control what you learn. They control what you see. They control who you're friends with, that sort of thing. And then they control that all the way up until you are, what, 22?
Like after college, yeah, I'd be like 22, 23.
Yeah. So 22, and then they put the whole...
There's hopefully you're clasped into that.
Yeah. So hopefully you're bought into that system by then. So then you're like, oh, well, now I'm going to get a job into this system where...
Yeah, but I think something happens though when your prefrontal cortex develops when you're like 25. I think that's when you start really thinking about stuff. But yeah, for sure, I think that, especially like if you eat Lucky Charms, as an adult, they're shit. But when you're a
Unless
kid,
you're eating all the fucking marshmallows.
they're still shit.
No, they're not.
The whole thing is shit. They put
Well,
mind
it's-
control in the Flintstone, or not the Flintstones. They put it in Fruity Pebbles. They put the mind control in Cocoa Puffs because all that stuff tastes like shit when you're older. Like when you're a kid, you don't want to eat eggs and sausage for breakfast.
Oh, dude, my dad would make me these sandwiches that were like, it was like toast, it was eggs,
Oh, my dad used to make me egg sandwiches. Too.
bacon, and like jelly. I ate that shit up.
Yeah, because maybe I was talking to
I
Thomas-
ate more Lucky Charms and that sort of shit when I was an adult than I did when I was a
I
kid.
ate the shit when I was a kid. I was talking to James, and he was like, "Do you think because the fluoride in the water when we're kids?" Because he's like, I drink out of well water, and he's like, "I don't think like these people." I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly it, man. They put mind control in absolutely fucking everything we eat."
Well, yeah, there's fluoride in the water.
Yeah, and it
They
fucks with your
pump the
brain.
water full of shit so that it salts your brain up.
Yeah,
But they're back on the Lucky Charms thing. There's a place in Tipton, Missouri, where you can literally buy a 5-gallon bag of just the marshmallows.
it sounds fucking awful. Like there's zero nutrition.
But when you were a kid,
when I was a kid, I would have loved that. I hated the little.
dude,
fish
I used
pieces.
to go through. By the way, we were just on Facebook Live.
That's cool. Hopefully, my face with it.
Oh, we had 12 comments, 1 share.
Oh, what are some of the comments?
Just my friends.
Oh, you guys are fucking stupid, bro.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
No, they were just like slingers. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was fun though.
We should have little segments like that. What dream segments? We'll have. All right, this is gonna be your segment for something of our youth or whatever the fuck, and then put it on Facebook.
Right. Yeah, our comments were fried spam, barbecue spam, caviar, Scrabble, laughed my ass off. The singers, people laughing, waving, potted up. We do ours on Sunday nights. Fun times. My friend San Labra, nice. Nice. I wish that I want to have like a set thing to put the thing on.
Just buy one. Buy like a selfie stick and.
Well, you don't want to be viewed, or else I'd put it right here.
Yeah, I don't want to be viewed at all. Put it behind.
Well,
you.
it's on my Facebook though. No one's gonna know.
Yeah, put it right here, and then just sees you.
Oh, and it's got the fucking. And it's got my music stuff in the background.
Yeah, we're just doing stuff now. Yeah, see, set it up right there.
Can you see me?
Yeah, you can see you perfectly fine. It's trying to turn towards me. It's fucking being controlled, man. That's what it is. We're just experiencing dead air. That's all. Just we don't really fast forward it now. But if you go back in time, just fast forward it. There you go. Hopefully it doesn't move. We could just film the. We'll just start filming it like that. So that's
Yeah, but I don't want to be the only person that.
why.
Well, now they're gonna hear your voice more though, so that's fine.
It's okay. I don't mind if they hear my voice. I'm just weirded out, especially when people have my fucking password to get into my stuff, dude.
You're not gonna get off the password thing, are you?
No, it's bothering me for some reason because they knew exactly what it was.
Okay, so I have this topic that I want to talk about. Or do you have a topic that you want to...
No, the 3 things that I wrote down for today were that dream, the understanding ideas of yourself, and then so on and so forth.
Do you think that they can hear, that people, if anyone does listen, that they can actually hear it?
Well, yeah, we're talking in a room, and you can hear through this thing, right?
Well, yeah, but if the volume's not loud enough...
Well, no, they'll just look at your arm then.
What do you mean?
We could just see your arm. This thing's slowly moving towards me.
It's because that refrigerator's vibrating.
See, well, you got it here. I'll just hold it like...
move the basket.
Yeah, there you go.
I have to get it on like...
Why don't you put it on this thing? Like, move the basket and then put this thing right there.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
To have, like, it locked up in position.
My friend Joe's watching. He'd be a good person to have on this podcast. He's the person that introduced me to David Lynch.
Okay.
Yeah, began the phase of weirdness.
See, people can watch you. It doesn't... I don't open one of these bottles.
Well, one of these days, though, you're going to be on there.
Yeah, I'm going to be wearing my mask.
Your mask?
My little devil mask.
Oh, so wait. So did you have a thing you wanted to talk about?
No, I basically was just going through the list of the stuff that I just wanted to talk about.
So I want to talk about the concept of like restarting. So
Like in a video game?
No. You know the feeling. So let's say you get really shit faced on Friday and Saturday. You get hammered Friday. You wake up Saturday. You got some shit going on. So you rally. You get hammered again. Sunday's miserable. Sunday, people always spend their time being like, okay, next week I'm going to start Monday and I'm going to go to the gym after work and I'm going to eat healthy and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. The concept of restarting is, it's funny to me because it's like everyone does it. We all have our little restart things that we do. Like at the beginning of this week, I was literally saying, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink until Friday. I'm not going to drink until Thursday, whatever. And then Tuesday, I went and bought some whiskey because I wanted to drink. But it's just, what do you think, like the human desire to, restart, and I have to restart my like my clock or restart my life on this day to make me feel better. Like, what do you think like the need for that is?
Probably because they have some sort of remorse or something that they felt like they did.
Regret?
Yeah, in the past of something. And it could be like a weekend, it could be a month, it could be a year. But they just, okay, now it starts today. I'm getting healthy today. But I think that if you say that, it doesn't come true. What you got to do is when somebody tells you like, oh, I noticed a change in you. Like, oh yeah, I started that a while ago. Just don't tell anybody and it'll happen.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. But sometimes people do cleanses. Like, okay, starting today, I'm doing a juice cleanse. And they actually do it. So it could just be like, they're just placing it as a time frame for something.
Right, but it's like this obsession. And I feel that it takes away from, it's almost like lying about who you are or what you're doing. Because you're kind of like, you're saying that okay, so I just did this last week, but now I'm going to change this because I wasn't happy with.
Are you trying to come at it as a point of like it's bad or is it good?
I don't necessarily know if I have a stance on it. I just think it
could be good or bad.
Yeah, but more times than less, it always fails, right?
Well, there's a reason why I think it fails more so than not is because. There's this weird thing in our brain that when you say you're going to do something, even out loud, even to somebody else, actually more so to somebody else, you instantly get that gratification if you already did it.
Right.
So you don't do it.
Right.
Like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to write a song. And somebody's like, oh, that's really cool. And you just don't write the song because somebody was already like, good for you. Great, man. You know,
right. That has to do with the Facebook thing too.
Yeah.
Or,
So what you should do is just tell yourself, I'm going to make a start tomorrow and then by the end of this week and then measure it.
Yeah.
Also, the idea of tomorrow is really strange. Is like in the whole like the 12-step program is you want to do it today, do it tomorrow.
Right.
So if you I really want to eat this hamburger, but I'm going vegan for this entire week.
Right.
Tell yourself you eat it tomorrow.
Right.
Like that's how I measure certain things. Is like if I really really want something today, I'll see if I want it tomorrow, and then I'll see it the next day. And if I like for an example, if I want to shave my beard off and just keep a mustache, I'll like, do I really want to do it? And I'll just kind of wait to
Yeah.
okay, 5 days in a row I want to do it, then do it that way. But I think it might be because when you tell somebody something, you already got that gratification. So you're like, man, I made it for 3 days. Like let's say like I'm not gonna drink at all. I made it for 3 days. I'll just have a drink.
Right.
But the thing is, don't get yourself down on that.
Yeah.
You came to the conclusion that you wanted to drink today. If it gets to the point of like you feeling down that you had that drink on Wednesday, then don't fucking do it.
Right.
But if you're like, yeah, I made it a couple days and I want to do this because it makes my time more enjoyable, then there's nothing wrong. Like I said, it could be good or bad of how you view it.
Right. I just think it's funny. I think it's good for people though, because the more I think about it and then I'm talking about it, we only have one person watching.
That's okay.
People just keep coming in and out. What does it say? Oh, it's Joe. But I think it's good for people though, because it kind of gives, and I'm torn on how I actually feel about it, because I think it's good for you if you use it for the right sense, because it's a sense of hope, right? So like on Sunday, when you're like, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, it's a sense of hope. So the next day, you enter the day with like this goal. You know, you set a goal for that day. Oh, I'm going to do this that I decided yesterday that I'm going to do. So it's a sense of hope. It's a sense of future. It's a sense of something to look for. And like that, I watched this one speech, this Marine commencement speech, and he talks kind of about that, about making your bed every morning, making your bed, because it's the smallest task, but when you first do that task, you start your whole day by accomplishing things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I always make my bed. Not because of that reason.
Same here. Yeah. Same here. I always make my bed because it's like, oh, I accomplished one thing. No one's watching.
See, we were talking about beds and nobody wants to fucking listen to beds, man.
No, it's Facebook. People just cruise around. I need to figure out a way to plug the interface into that and run it off like a different computer.
Yeah, it'll be something for next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're saying. The whole idea is if you set these little goals, here's the thing that I like to think about is you want to record a song, right? If you think about the lyrics, you have to write lyrics, you have to write melody, you have to write a beat to it, right? It's kind of taxing, but just write the beat to it. Just write the this. Oh, that was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
I was like, what is squirting out? But if you break down what it is, that today I'm gonna write the beat. Okay, get the beat, now I'm gonna write the melody. Now I'm gonna write the melody, then I'm gonna write the lyrics. It's way easier to tackle a project if you look at it in incremental things rather than this whole
breaking it down.
Yeah, like for example, if you want to write a comic book, right, and it's 6 issues, well, if you write it, let's say it'll take you 6 weeks to write the whole series. Well, that's 6 weeks, and then it takes you 1 month if you're a professional artist, 1 month to pencil and ink the entire thing. So now you're up to 6 weeks plus 6. You're up to 30 weeks now. And then you need to color it. Well, let's say that's 3 weeks. Now you're at 33 weeks. And then you need to letter it, which is, let's say, 1 week, 34 weeks. That's more than a half year.
Right.
You're like, fuck, I don't have a half year to do it. But if you break it down little by little, like how I just did in my head, like, well, okay, well, lettering that, then you can just move on. And then eventually you just have the entire project done.
Right.
Rather than just, but I agree on the little tasks. And they, I forget what video I was watching. They said, don't do, it wasn't like, is if you look at whole picture things, you're more likely not going to complete it than if you look at little things. Say, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this.
Right.
And then eventually,
like an album, you look at the small, each song, getting each song done, building up towards the album.
Yeah, rather than just like, and then when you do that, sometimes you'll come to an album with like twice as many songs.
Right.
That's why, like, I don't know how they make albums nowadays at all. But that's why I always liked when they released the stuff that never got on albums, like the B-sides of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it's exactly it. So I think the whole idea of like restarting something is like you didn't feel confident of what you did yesterday or the day before, or the week before, and so you just try to. I'm getting back on track now. I'm gonna do this. But I've seen it with a lot of people who say like, there has to come to a point where you're just sick of seeing something unfinished,
Right.
so you just have to finish it.
That's how I am with this album. I'm like, it's on the finishing touches, like the ending stages, but it's like that last linger that you just have to push.
They always say there's 2%.
Yeah.
It's the 2% left that's the hardest
Yeah.
of the 98%.
It's such a, and when you go into something like that, you have all the intention of doing it, you know, and finishing it, and it's so exciting. But then when you get to the end, our attention spans are only so long. So once you get towards like 50 to 75%, you're already thinking about the next thing, you know?
That's the worst thing ever is the new shiny things.
Yeah.
I always have to like, I fall super into that trap of new shiny things.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I don't know why. Anything that's like,
Well,
that's an old idea.
What do we have? 3 unfinished comics?
Yeah, basically.
I will tell you
2.
though, the dude, coloring is hard. It takes forever.
I fucking hate coloring, man.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
A day for one, just for me, I'm new,
yeah.
but just for coloring is 1 day.
Yeah. Maybe we should try doing something with like
Black and white.
zip tone black and whites and noise filters. I'll have to show you how to do that stuff.
Yeah, whatever's
take
easier, because I want to finish that one story about the detective.
Yeah. But see what I'm saying? Like the new shiny stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the podcast became after.
Yeah, but this is so much easier. If you,
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, for you just show up and talk.
Yeah, that's true.
No. I have everything set up on here now that it's just like.
Yeah, but at first it was like your stuff, and I was
Yeah.
like, man, it's like if we end up making money, we'll have to figure out how to like you did all this shit for it, you know, like the
You know what's
music is
crazy
yours.
though? You know what's crazy is we came up with this concept.
But I did the logo. That's
Oh yeah, that's enough for my audio stuff. I already had the songs in the intro. But what's crazy though is like the concept of an idea, right? And seeing it go through its life form, and seeing. So we thought about this we thought about doing a podcast. We met each other. We talked. We're like, oh, we talk about the same shit. Oh, I haven't talked to someone like this before.
Yeah.
You like this podcast? Yeah, I like this podcast, what have you. And then we made a podcast, and then we recorded 7 or whatever episodes. When we were recording those episodes, to me, the concept of putting them, distributing them, getting a website, doing all this stuff, I was just like, man, that sounds like a fucking undertaking.
Yeah.
And then I did it, and now it's so easy. And that's just like, in our world, proof of how easy, if you just do, if you visualize, if you create in your mind, if you manifest, or if you create this idea and then you do what you can to manifest it, it will come true.
I 100% agree with that.
And I wanted to talk about that too tonight, is manifestation.
Some weird, eerie things have been manifesting for me lately too.
Really?
Yeah, the things that I've been thinking about, as soon as I stopped getting into my own head and just allowing to see the signs from what the universe is presenting, dude, things are, I don't know, just weirdly syncing up with stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how, it's like little stupid stuff.
Hold on, I'm gonna Facebook this one.
Okay.
Except I think my phone's about to die.
Do it until it dies. Well, technically it doesn't die. It just goes to phone heaven. Currently, the temperature is 78 degrees. The time, 9:08. And you listen to the...
That sounds like. Have you ever seen Donnie Darko?
No, you actually recommended
Yeah.
me to see that.
So yeah, back to the manifestation thing. So, so that goes along that coincides with like the law of human attraction is manifestation. So it is an idea. You take this idea, you come up with an idea. So like this podcast, we came up with this idea. We were like, oh, we want to do this podcast. And then we didn't really know how to go about it, but we each made the relevant strides towards accomplishing it, right?
Yeah.
So then we got 7 episodes in and we're like, all right, we got to figure out how to distribute it. We distributed it, and then people started listening and this and that, and it just takes off. And I think that's the idea of manifestation. That's all it is it's an idea, and then you do what you can in your power to make that idea come true.
Yes, the whole execution of it,
Yeah.
rather than because like I said, if you just keep on thinking about it and then never doing anything, it'll never manifest.
Right. Well, and sometimes I think that the idea of like within your capacity. Oh shit, that's gonna die. Do you want to tag Jack Meyer in this video? No.
The time currently.
No, but so when you manifest these ideas, when you think about these ideas, then it's up to you to manifest it. And that being said, I don't know if there's limitations to it. I think that there's limitations within what you can physically do about it. But like, let's say like, oh, I want to be a millionaire or I want to be a billionaire. Okay, well, I'm going to think about that every single day. I'm going to envision myself a millionaire or a billionaire. I'm going to write it everywhere. I'm going to act like I'm a millionaire or a billionaire. Unless you do something to work towards that goal, it's not going to happen. It's not going to manifest. Manifestation is envisioning something and doing it what you can in your power to make it come true. If you just envision that and then you literally just fucking walk around and eat, food out of the trash, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think there's here's my take on it is there's different names for the same thing. Some people call it the law of attraction, the same thing as
Sigil magic.
Yes, sigil magic with like Albert Anton Wilson. Anton.
I thought it was Grant Morrison's.
Well, Grant, it's not his. That's not his concept. That's part of chaos magic. Is you do these things to manifest them in real life. But this, I don't know if you've ever seen that. I watched that video that I sent you with Robert Anton Wilson. But he's doing the same thing. He's creating this like law of attraction or this chaos magic or synchronicities or just whatever it may be, right? People have different names for the same thing. And I've always really subscribed to the idea that whatever you want in life is achievable. It's just, what do you want?
Right.
Is it the 9 to 5? That's
do you
perfectly
really
fine.
want what you actually think you want?
It depends. You can't be so blind to the idea of the forest when you're staring at a tree, if that makes sense.
Right.
So for an example is, I want to draw comics, right? But I get an opportunity to be a storyboard artist for animation. That's comic books.
Right.
It's just a different form. I can't be blind. Like, that's not comic books. I can't do it. But when that was supposed to be my pathway.
Right.
Like that sort of thing. If it's executing my illustration skills, that is a win. You are winning. If it's you producing pop music, that is a win. If you want to do pop music, I'm saying.
Right.
Like
I think it all has to do though with you set the intention, you set the idea, but you can't just set it and expect it to come to you.
Yes, that's another thing with it too, is where the sigil magic happens is you make the sigil magic and then you activate it by doing something.
Then you pleasure yourself on it.
Yeah, you can do that's the quickest way to is jack off onto it. But
my dad's gonna hear that, by the way.
Is to what Grant Morrison did was he had the idea for the Invisibles and bungee jumped. What you do is you get to a moment of being scared. So if you don't ever want to skydive, do sigil magic and skydive with that sigil in your head. It's getting to the reason why is because you're allowing weakness to seep into the whole concept.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, so you create this thing that you want, and it's like, okay, I want to be an illustrator. I'm just gonna sit around and not draw. Let's wait for it. It's never going to happen.
Right.
You have to fucking do it in order. Yeah, but what is with anything is why did Post Malone get discovered? I want to be a musician, and he didn't write music. No, he had to write music to be discovered too. Right. And the weird thing is, this is where I think it comes into play of actually manifesting it is doing the work. Right. It's because I've been really thinking about people who achieved what they wanted to achieve is they really weren't focusing on achieving the ultimate. Like Grant Morrison is highly considered the top comic book writer of this generation, right? Right. Some people don't like him, but that's with anything. He didn't strive for that. What he strived for was to get onto paper his crazy-ass idea. Oh shit, his crazy-ass ideas onto comic book form, and it just so happened that he became one of the best comic book writers of all time. Right. if you go into it with a specific idea, like I said, you're looking at the tree rather than the forest, it probably isn't going to work.
Right. You can't be like, I want to be a millionaire in or
Real quick, do you think your dad's gonna jack off on sigil paper?
No, I don't think he's going to do that. I'm just saying he's going to listen to this and he's going to be like, when I talk to him, he's going to be like, what is he talking about?
Like, try it, Dad.
And I
highly recommend it, whatever you want.
And I'll just say, well, I didn't say it. He said it. So,
well, I do recommend trying it.
No. But yeah, so it's like one of those things where it's another congruent idea or a congruent thing of nowadays is people, they want to envision this lifestyle or this thing, but they don't want to work for it. Like for me, I want to be a music producer in the capacity where I can sustain a life, right? I don't need millions of dollars. I just need what I need. But I want to be able to wake up. If I fucking feel like waking up at 5:30 and working on music, I can do it. If I don't want to wake up till noon, but I want to do that. So I'm envisioning that. That's my goal or my, the thing. And now I'm thinking, what am I going to do to take steps in that direction? Okay, well, I'm going to finish my band Break Nights album. I'm going to be constantly working on music, playing as many live shows as I can with Break Night, just learning music and networking, things within my capacity. I can't fly out to LA and hang outside of Skrillex's fucking mansion and beg him to listen to my shit. That's not within my capacity. I mean, it is, but that's not,
Real quick too, Big Sean?
Mm-mm.
He's a rapper, Big Sean.
No.
He had his mixtape on him, and he met Kanye West, and it's like, listen to this. Where I was going with that story is, always have your stuff ready.
Right.
Like, if somebody asks me to see my art, I have it on my phone.
Right.
And don't over-explain your stuff. Let them see it. Like, always be ready for that opportunity.
Right.
Isn't that what they say is luck? Luck is, it's one part preparation, one part, what was the next part?
Opportunity?
Yeah. Opportunity.
Is that from 8 Mile with Eminem?
Oh, I never seen 8 Mile.
It sounds like it.
But if it is from 8 Mile, that's...
But yeah, it's like that thing.
I think actually Lil Pump quoted that.
Oh, really?
No, fuck no, he didn't say that.
He's dead, isn't he?
Lil Pump. Lil Pump's like a new
Oh,
rapper.
yeah, that's that. Gucci gang, 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 Gucci gang. But yeah, but anyways, but the whole, and I think that people not necessarily take advantage of the expectance of manifestation or the law of human attraction, but they're not willing to put in the work. Any person that you talk to who says that worked for them in some capacity will say, oh, well, I did something about it. I didn't just, you can't just sit there and imagine that you're going to live in a fucking mansion and stay and keep your job, selling crickets on the corner of a city or something. You know what I mean? Like, you have to do something about it. But the biggest proponent and the biggest weapon, the best weapon you can have in your arsenal is having that goal in mind and being confident about it and being like, this is what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm going to do to get there, and I'm not going to get discouraged. Just like I switched careers. Just like I've used it a whole bunch of times. The secret. I use it for parking spots during Christmas season. I use it for switching careers. Yeah. I've used it before in certain capacities, but I've always been doing something to do something for it.
I will also add my final thing to that whole thing. Like I said, it's different names. Don't be blind to other options. And then the other thing is, you cannot use somebody else's.
Right.
So like, if I can't use Grant Morrison's path.
Right.
I can't. Okay, so he buys into chaos magic. I don't. So if I buy into chaos magic, I'm not really buying into it. I buy into the whole universe synchronizing my past experiences to measure future experiences. That's what I buy into, and it works for me. If I told somebody else what I'm trying to do, and here's my ideas of things synchronizing together through the past to lead to the future, here's all these things that happen to you to prepare you for the future, in a sense of like, experiences, not of like schooling, but of experiences, that won't work for anybody else.
Right.
If Jim Carrey, he wrote himself $1 million check in like whatever year, and it ended up coming true, and he actually put the date down, and that exact date he got that $1 million. That's not going to work for you.
Right.
Because
It could though.
It could, but what I'm saying is, if you really believe and buy into it, it will work for you.
Right. Don't
Yeah.
use someone else's thing and be like, oh, it worked for them.
Yeah, it didn't work for
Yeah.
me. Why didn't it work for me? Because you're not buying into it. Like if you think that a car broken down on the side of the road and you knock on your car door 3 times to protect your car from breaking down, like that car works, and you buy into it, it'll probably work.
Right.
It's weird. Like, even though I'll say stuff like I don't buy into superstition, I finally realized, because I told you about the whole salt thing, and like
You do.
yeah, I think you have to buy into some sort of superstition about
Yeah.
yourself. We're superstitious creatures because
Right.
dogs don't have superstitions. We do. Like, oh, I touch a doorknob 3 times and turn to left and turn right and then turn to
Right.
left again, and it somehow opens up perfectly.
Speaking of a car not started, dude, you have to watch this movie, The Endless.
Oh yeah, you're telling me about it.
Like, please go home. It costs $4 on YouTube. I will give you $4 to go home and watch it.
I have to be I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it a little later.
I'm telling you, dude, you're gonna be like, oh shit. But I'm not gonna give you any like preconceived thoughts to go into it with, but I'm just telling you, you're gonna love it. It's weird. It's not gory. It's not scary. It's just weird. But I think that the way that you'll perceive it is the way that I perceived it. It makes total sense. But it is a fantastic movie. And I listened to this guy's podcast, Fade, which if you don't listen to yet, you should. Fade to Black. His name's Jimmy Church. He had the directors who also starred in it on his radio show. And like they talk the same way we do, that sort of thing. But dude, the movie is so good. The comedic aspect of it is awesome, and the storyline, and I think the underlying theme of it is so great. I think you'll fucking love it. But I just want to say that I love that fucking movie, and it's a it's probably the best movie I've seen since
Really?
the first time I saw David Lynch's movies.
Yeah, I always had these. I want to watch more movies. The only movies that I watch are superhero movies because I like superhero stuff, and I don't know. I don't know. There's TV shows, but just like I get bored. Like, play it in the background when we're like,
Right.
like,
Well, I watched this movie. I mean, I've been doing a lot of research. I saw the previews for it and stuff, but I was in here in the studio and I was working on music, and I was like, man, I'm going to take a break. And I was like, oh, shit, I'll just watch this movie. So I just sat on that couch and watched it on here. So it wasn't really, it was just kind of like a break from what
Yeah,
I was really doing.
I like stuff like that because I'll go out when I eat lunch, away from the table, and then I'll watch something on YouTube, like that guy that I sent you. I forget what his name is, but the reason why I actually decided to watch that video is at the end of the book, How to Change Your Mind. He talks about that guy and what he has to say.
Oh, you finished that book?
Yeah, I think I finished it on Monday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I started the new one, What is Real?
Oh, nice.
It's the quest for the unanswered question in quantum mechanics.
Nice. Sounds intense.
It's pretty much all quantum mechanic books like that are just giving you a history of how the fuck they came up with stuff, and then midway through it's what's going on now, and then the ending of the book's always the writer's perspective
Right,
and stuff. It's
yeah.
always the same
That's how
thing.
biocentrism is.
Really. And I don't like skipping stuff, because the more times I read about history, the more it'll probably stick in my head. But it's like, how many times has every single writer got to write about the history of, like, I get it. I get
Right.
how, Einstein created general relativity after special relativity. Like, I get it. I don't know how many times I gotta fucking read it. He's a great, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they always have to put that shit in there.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, we can go with it. This is the long one.
Yeah, this is...
Hopefully, it's people who watched us on Facebook Live can subscribe to us, leave feedback, comments on things.
We're
Check out
officially reviewed on
my iTunes, which is pretty fucking cool.
five
Five, yeah.
listens, or 10 listens, I think is what a consensus. You need at least 5 or 10.
Okay, all good. So thank you for that shit.
Yeah.
If you want to see my blurred face out, go to the Instagram page, comment on that.
Instagram, Twitter. Now that I've opened the Facebook can of worms, I might do that. Maybe next week we'll actually do a actual Facebook feed?
I think I'll go maybe in like September. I'll get my, because I know my mask is at the Peru devil mask is at my parents' place. So I'll
I
get
think
that
you should
away.
just be on there.
I don't see. I think it would be kind of cool that like this what the mystery is. Like, what does he look like?
Yeah.
It'd be like a kind of like a theme to it.
It could be.
And then we'll be on Joe Rogan, and I'll wear that fucking mask. You know.
We could just put like a thing, like something that blocks your face from the camera, like a little piece of paper, like close to the lens.
Or it can even be like I'll just wear a new mask every week.
Yeah,
and-
but that's gonna be uncomfortable for you.
no, not at all, man. I'll just wear it. Eventually, like it's like wearing clothes.
We'll just put the angle. We'll
of the
put-
dangle.
Well, next I'm gonna figure out how to get audio into the Facebook feed, so it's not room audio. And if that's the case, then I'll just put it like right there, facing this way, and it'll just be me.
But I want to wear masks.
Or you can wear masks.
I think it'd be fun to just wear a bunch of different masks. People
Yeah, if you
look
want
at it and try to figure out. What
I think
I'm
I
wearing.
got like 4 or 5 masks around the house.
Hey, wear them. Eventually, like they'll just start smelling like my breath. It's like Jesus.
I am gonna get a Roar podcast poster to put right there.
That'd be cool. Yeah, and if anybody wants those, let us know, and we'll make some for people.
Yeah.
I think stickers are coming soon.
Yeah.
I really want a shirt. I know a few people who would like shirts of it.
Really?
Yeah, fuck, dude, shirts are awesome.
Maybe we should do a crowdfund.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe starting a Patreon because I know how to run because I have a Patreon, but I don't really use it to make money. I just use
Well-
it to post my art.
Well, then maybe that could be your contribution to the
Yeah.
media aspect.
Yeah, I'll do the Patreon.
Yeah.
And then because I like the idea of a Patreon as just $1. You just get $1, and then if you want that month a T-shirt, just put $25 to it rather. Because I don't like asking people for a shit ton of money.
Right.
But like $1 base to help us, make this thing grow, and then we'll have different merch if you want for that specific month. Because you can do like an ongoing thing or specific. Like this month we're having this sort of reward tier, and just keep doing it that way.
Yeah.
'Cause
Nice.
I think a Patreon might be pretty cool because then people can just pay whatever,
Yeah.
and then I like the idea of this thing just steamrolling.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like we've said before, it's not a narcissistic thing. We're just talking, and I would like to hear these conversations. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Is that why you make music? Because the music
Yeah,
that you make
exactly.
isn't music that you
Yeah.
hear.
And if anyone ever wants to, message us and be like, "Hey, can I be on a call?" I'd be like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, yeah, sure."
Yeah, that'd be-
You listened, so we have something in common. So,
But yeah.
all right.
All right. So adios, amigos.